Boom, baby, we're live. Welcome to Interview with the Man, episode 598. I'm here joined by my good friend, Mr. Justin Marc, coming in all the way from Toronto, is it?
Yep, Toronto, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, we have a fucking banger of a show for you guys today. But real quick, I want to show you guys something. Don't forget, on December 29th, we have the Masculine Empowerment Network going live. So if you're not on the waiting list, you need to go to masculineempowermentnetwork.com. Scroll down, put your email address in right here, click get here on the waiting list, and you're locked and loaded. What do you get when you sign up for the Masculine Empowerment Network? You get my course, the Dark Past Harem, seduction course on how to date multiple women simultaneously while they're all serving you and taking care of you. You're going to get 20 webinars with experts in money, muscles, game, and frame. Justin Marc here is a new addition to the team. He'll be joining and giving a presentation. 200 hours of past webinars recorded on a private database. A secure Telegram chat that goes all the way until the 1st of April. 3 end-of-month checkup calls via Zoom where you get to talk to me and my team. We monitor your progress to get you to the lifestyle you want and the direct interaction and mentoring with me, MLD. We got an updated schedule here real quick. Take a look. New things we've added. Stephen Ronald Bell, the millionaire outside the matrix. This is a guy who's made more than 7 figures. He's going to talk about it all, and he's completely outside of the corporate system, completely outside the matrix, totally free. We have Red Pill Thor coming in the game with alternative game, threesome, and erotic speech with BDSM. We got a couple more things here with Wraith talking about frame statements, journal, positive self-talk, and so much more. John Fitch is going to be popping by, and then Justin's going to be giving some on the game as well, and yours truly will also be dropping it in the Masculine Empowerment Network webinars. So go to masculineempowermentnetwork.com, get on the waiting list. Justin, thank you so much for showing up today, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Dude, like, I gotta say, like, I every time I talk to you, I feel like I fanboy because I'm just like, dude, I totally respect what you do, and I totally like, you're just killing the game. You are absolutely killing the game. You're the fucking king of Toronto right now.
Straight up, yeah.
So like, what I want to do on this just thing is like, I just want to like kind of get to know like your Batman origin story.
Sure.
Like, what's your, like, how did you get into this? How did you get so good? Like, let's just start from the beginning. So go ahead from there.
Good. So I feel like I come from a very traditional like PUA background where I had like horrible social anxiety and a bunch of other anxiety disorders like ADHD, OCD, manic depression. And I didn't really know how to channel all of those like negativities into something that would make me productive. So I was just miserable, dude. I had no friends, definitely like no girlfriend, but not like, I didn't even have female friends. I didn't even have girls who would consider being my friend. Right. And it was the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. It was just too depressing. It was too anxiety inducing to even try to speak to a woman. And I realized that something needed to change. So I started just kind of, I didn't even know about like the pickup community or the red pill space or the concept of self-development. I didn't realize that, oh, you can actually improve yourself. Right. And so I just started going out, trying to socially improve myself on my own without even realizing that it was such a linear path where you can actually learn and grow. And it was so complicated because I didn't have a mentor. I wasn't learning from YouTube or social media. I didn't have someone guiding me. I didn't have videos online teaching me the right way. And even just from like trying on my own, I was slowly kind of improving a little bit here and there, but not even close to the level of progression that a guy could truly have with a coach or a mentor, right?
Right.
And so eventually I started hitting the gym, and that's when I noticed a huge change in my confidence. All of a sudden, I mean, like I went from being able to like not lift anything to lift like a 10-pound weight. And to me, that was revolutionary because the thought that I can actually work on myself and improve myself, I was thinking if I can do this with like my fitness, even at a small level, then I've got to be able to do this when it comes to meeting and dating women. And so I started like searching up the internet, like how to pick girls, how to talk to girls, and finding all of these different resources online. And then I started learning. So I found like content online, pickup videos, all these different schools of thought. And my mindset wasn't to just sit at home and watch videos because I didn't really find that too beneficial. I wanted to actually go out and just try it. I wanted to actually go out and just practice. in my head, it didn't really make sense to sit around watching these videos. I was like, holy fuck, I want to try this. I would see guys going out talking to girls. I would see all these like infield pickup videos. And I was like, I want to go do this right now. And so I immediately just started going out and trying to apply everything I'd kind of learned from online. I was immediately getting results socially. Maybe I wasn't getting laid at first, but I was socially getting, you know, different feedback.
And how old are you when you started doing this?
So I started really early. It's kind of hard to really quantify where I really started the game, but anywhere from between 14 years old to 16 years old. And now I'm in my late 20s. So I've been in this space for a very long time.
How old are you now?
I'm 27.
27. Still killing the game, bro. Killing it.
Yeah. And so I spent 10 full years pretty much going out almost every single day to thoroughly practice these skills and, you know, get better and better and better and better and better. Right. And so it got to a point where, I mean, my first 3 years, I only hooked up with around a dozen women. Right. But then you get that snowball effect. And if you look at anyone who stays consistent with anything or over a long enough period of time, you know, they just go on to become great. So, you know, first year I hooked up with like 3 girls. Second year I hooked up with like, I don't know, maybe like 8 girls. My third year I had a girlfriend, hooked up with like 0 girls. You know, my fourth year I hooked up with like 30 girls. Fifth year I hooked up with like 50 girls. You know, the sixth year I did game, hooked up with like 35 girls because again, I had a relationship, but me and my girlfriend would like pull girls together. My 7th year in game, I remember that year. It was really crazy. I broke up with my girlfriend. I smashed almost 100 girls in a year. And so it was crazy to me seeing like the linear progression over the years, and it just becomes exponential and more like intense and insane. And it's taken me all around the world to over 50 plus countries, allowed me to sleep with literally hundreds of women. And as you said, turned me into the king of Toronto, where every single weekend I bring out 200 to 300 women to come party at clubs. So I just got so good at meeting gorgeous women that I needed a place to, you know, take them and kind of keep them. Right. And so I moved into this gorgeous penthouse downtown Toronto during COVID lockdowns, and I was throwing parties here. And pre-COVID, you know, I was already running this interesting nightlife business as a club promoter. But what was really interesting is after COVID, I'm just around with so many beautiful women, bringing out so many girls every single weekend. And I'm not necessarily sleeping with all these girls, but a lot of them I was. And the reason I would like to do parties in my house is because my bedroom's right over fucking there. And then I can, you know, bring them from like the party area to my room very efficiently, very easily. And then I realized after a certain point, I need my house to stop getting fucked up with all these people, like trash my fucking house. Right. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to start partnering with nightclubs. And so I started a nightlife company. And again, each weekend we bring out literally on a slow weekend, we'll bring out 150 girls.
Wow.
Right. And so
how do you source them?
Say again?
How do you source them?
Just cold approach. I just go out and I just meet so many fucking girls. Well, think about this, right? Every night at the club, I'll get around like 20 girls Instagrams, 30 girls Instagrams, right? And I'll go out 2-3 nights a week. And then even like during the days, I'll go do some day game where I'll have like coaching clients flying, stuff like that. On one of my boot camps, I'm running around fucking meeting every girl in the city, right? And so each month I'm meeting like hundreds of girls. I've got a few thousand girls on Instagram. And so I will just go through my list, invite girls out, or it's pretty passive, honestly. I'll even just like post stories saying I'm doing a party this place, this night, and just girls show up, right? And so every single weekend, we just got these epic parties with tons of fucking chicks. And I don't want to brag or flex too much. You know what I mean?
Do it.
Results I get.
Flex as hard as you can.
But, okay, sure. So, I mean, last weekend, I was in a position where I hooked up with 11 girls over the course of 3 days, right? And it's probably a new fucking record. It's probably a new personal record, right? But it was like 8. I smashed 8 girls. 5 of them are new. One was my assistant Gabby. One was my girlfriend. One was an old lay. I had a couple threesomes, and then just like bang, girl after girl, right? Because think about this: when you're in an environment where there's like 150 chicks and there's just like you and a few dudes, right? I mean, there's drinking, girls want to party, you know, they're kind of horny. And then hey, I'm working out, not a bad looking dude, and I'm dressing well, and I've practiced game for fucking 10 years. It becomes very easy to, you know, pick a few girls throughout the night to hook up with. So if I'm doing a party on a Friday night and a Saturday night, it becomes very like almost like a given to just end up hooking up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. What do you like, you know, there's a lot of guys out there that just make up like every excuse in the world. Like, and I think the most common thing a lot of we hear from some guys, like, you know, you and I, like, we're both of Indian heritage, right? Are you 100% Indian?
Yeah, my family's going. I
Yeah,
didn't know you're Indian. That's
I'm
interesting.
half Indian. Yeah, I'm half Indian. And so like guys say like, oh, you know, I'm Indian, or I'm fucking this, or I'm that, or I'm short. How tall are you?
5'4".
5'4". Like every complaint in the book, and you're just like literally living like a fucking a literal rock star, like beyond the top 1% sexually.
Yeah.
So what do you think that is? Like, what do you think the cope comes from?
I think it comes from like vibe and mindset, right? Because literally in my head, I just feel like I've got the best fucking game, right? And I walk around with this like demeanor of like just there's no when I'm in a social environment and I'm in that zone, there's just like no anxiety, right? And so what's really interesting about this is when I go to cold approach, I still get approach anxiety. I still get social anxiety. But then like I remember I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fucking Justin Marc, right? And so I just allow myself to feel like I'll allow myself to feel nervous and still go talk to girls, right? Because at the end of the day, dude, girls don't give a fuck about what you're feeling. They care about what you make them feel, right? And so my mindset's always like, how can I make this girl feel, you know, value in any way, shape, or form? Right. Essentially, what I do is I walk around finding girls and then finding their incentive and then giving it to them. So if their incentive is having a, you know, a cute date to hook up with, right? I'll go on Tinder and hook up with girls, right? Or if their incentive is, you know, a cool experience and a cool party, I'll do that. If their incentive is, I just want a guy I feel comfortable around, I'll become their friend. I friends myself with girls, dude. I'll tell girls like they're like my little sister and then we can be best friends. Then over a long enough period of time, we're hanging out all the time, we end up hooking up, right? And so my mindset's like purely like offering value. I'm not trying to take anything. I'm just trying to give. And then I'm always just in a really positive energy. Like I'm really good at controlling my own emotional state, right? And so I'm always just in a very good headspace, right? And people are going to feel what you're going to feel, right? If you walk around grumpy all the time, people are going to feel that, right? But if you walk around in like a really positive state of mind all the time, people are going to feel that from you as well. And so people are going to feel positive energy around you if you're feeling positive energy within yourself. And so I'm always very social, very welcoming, always very articulate. And when I meet new women, I'm just like, I just open them, like I just bring them in right away. And then I just follow a very linear process of game of bring girls home, having an after party at my penthouse, you know, constantly find myself in environments where there's going to be more girls than guys in the environment. So if I'm out at the club, you'll see my table, I'm with like 2 friends and there's like 80 fucking girls there. Right. And then I'll have like a couple clients with me, or I'll have a couple guys like buy bottles or whatever. But usually there's like, I don't know, a handful of dudes, like 5 guys, and then like 80 girls, 100 girls coming and going throughout the night, right? Or if it's one of my house parties, I mean, I'll probably have more dudes. I'll probably have like 20, 30 guys, and then like 100 girls or 150 girls, right? So I try my best to have like a really high ratio of girls to guys. And then I try my best to make sure I'm, you know, in my best self, dressing well, hitting the gym, in a good mindset. And the other thing is I don't ever try to purposely put myself in a situation where I'm like hang around low status dudes, right? Where
What would you define as low status?
like here's the thing. All my friends are cool dudes. All my friends are like making a shit ton of money, making millions of dollars, you know, just really attractive. And in a weird way, that might actually hurt you. That might actually hurt you when it comes to meeting new women, because I mean, think about this, right? I don't know if you know Luis Mercado. He's the host of Catch a Cheater. So he was living with me in Toronto for the last like 2 to 3 months. He's got a killer game, man. Dude fucking slays. Like he's everywhere I bring this guy, girls want to fuck him. Right? And a lot of these girls are like my girls or girls I'm trying to go for. And they'll want to fuck him now because he's 8 years older than me, more jacked than me, makes more money than me. And he's got over 1 billion views on social media. And he's just got this energy and demeanor where girls like gravitate towards him. Right. And it's crazy to see. And so if you think about this, right, most guys won't want to bring a guy like that around them and their girls, right? Because there's so much fucking abundance with women. I just do it anyway. Right. And what's really crazy is you think that would actually hurt my ability to meet new women and get laid. But actually it brings me up to even a higher status where, you know, I'm always around high level dudes who've got game and who are bringing new girls in the ecosystem. And because I'm doing the same thing, you know, I only roll with guys who are just fucking bringing out hot fucking chicks. And think about this, right? If I'm bringing out 100 fucking girls a night, my best friend Matt is bringing out 100 girls a night, right? And then I actually built a nightclub promoter team. So I've pretty much been able to replicate what I do to essentially automate what I do in my nightlife business. So I've got these dudes who run around the city, meeting girls and bring girls out to the club. So again, every weekend we're bringing out like hundreds of chicks, and these guys, their goal isn't to really get laid. So if I'm constantly in a position where I'm in an authority position, I'm a high level club promoter, I'm like the cool YouTuber guy, and then also I live in this gorgeous penthouse and I have all these girls around me. It's kind of inevitable. I'm just gonna kind of get laid, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because like even if I don't have all of this is how I like to do game, because it's like very passive and automated for me, very low energy. Even if I don't have it, I'm still getting laid, dude. I can travel any state in the world and recreate this, right? I went to Colombia early this year, back in June, smashed 6 girls in a week, right? I was in Europe back in September, backpacking 2 days, every 2 days, new city. And, I was constantly just pulling girls, right? And so I think it really comes down to being confident in yourself,
right?
Learning these skills, because this is really a skill set. Learning how to pick up girls, learning how to date is a skill set similar to learning how to fucking play guitar, right? It really, truly is a skill set. And, when you've been doing it for over a decade, you can really see, like actively, when you've been doing it for a decade, you can really see the intricacies of what would get you to a really good place really quickly. And so it's really insane to me is I can, like, what took me 10 years to get to, I can help a guy get there in a few months, right?
Wow.
I actually have a video of a student who is literally a virgin, and he lost virginity in one of my boot camps. And what was crazy is he came to do another program with me a few months later, and in a 3-month period, he had hooked up with 30 women in 3 fucking months. Now this dude was right out of Faridabad, India. I don't know what the fuck that is, right? So, like, this fucking dude was straight, like, fresh off the boat. And I mean, he was just such a good student where he just listened to everything I said, applied it efficiently. He had a horrible accent, but he starts hitting the gym, starts dressing well, starts communicating in a way that would actually get him girls. Got on Tinder, pimped out his fashion, pimped out his Instagram, and now he's just crushing with chicks, right?
Dude, I love it. So you talk about, because your positive energy is so contagious. Like, even when we have phone calls, I'm like, dude, I fucking love talking to this guy. Like, I absolutely love it. How could somebody like cultivate that? Because I think what you said is so true. It's all about confidence, right? And the other side of that is, like, dudes are just very, like, they're not very happy with themselves. Like, they're kind of like internally miserable. They're kind of like, they don't feel good about themselves, right? So what would you say, like how does, because can you identify that when somebody feels bad about themselves? And like,
totally,
yeah. And can you cure that? I'm sorry, go ahead.
You can literally smell it off them. When someone's not feeling like positive and confident about themselves, you can totally feel it off them. And that's repulsive to women. Dude, there's nothing more unattractive to a woman than a lack of self-confidence. Right? Think about this, dude. If you can't be confident in yourself, how can a woman be confident in you to take care of her, protect her? Whether it's for one night or 1 year, she can't trust herself to be around you. Right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, there's tons of guys out there who have self-esteem issues. There's tons of guys out there who, lack the self-confidence and ability to actually believe in themselves, believe that they can improve, believe that they can be attractive. I was thinking about this last night, right? I mean, I'm 27 years old. I do really well for myself in my career, financially. But I was thinking about it. I'm like, where do I think I'm going to be? And I feel like eventually I'll be at a point where I'm making tens of millions of dollars, or maybe even up to a point of like hundreds of millions of dollars. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, if I didn't believe I could do that, I probably wouldn't even try. And I was thinking about how that goes back to dating, why I got to such a high level in like my dating skills, right? It's because I believed that it was possible, right? Now, most guys don't even believe it's possible, right? And when they see a guy like me, you'll see like 2 different types of guys. You'll see guys who are like, holy fuck, this is awesome, I'm inspired. Then you see the guy who will try to rationalize, try to be like, oh, this guy's like a fake guru, try to like rationalize why I get results. So there'll be guys who, who are saying, well, oh, he gets girls because he's good looking, or he gets girls because of this, or he's got a nice face, right? Like, if you look at like the black pill community,
oh god,
it's really funny. One of my buddies sent me an article the other day on the actualize.org forum, and it was a bunch of guys just talking about me and why I get girls, and they were like rationalizing why I get girls and they can't, right? And they're like, oh, it's because you got a nice face, or it's because you're good looking, or it's because of this and that, right? Well, I didn't move into a penthouse or kill it in my career, kill it with a nightlife business, or do all these things because I was just handed it, right? I created it from thin fucking air, right? I moved back to Toronto 2 years ago, right? When I just had a media scandal. I got fully canceled. My business fell fucking apart. I
What
had to move
happened?
to my buddy's basement, right? My old friend from college. I had to move in his fucking basement.
When was this?
From fucking scratch. This is 2 fucking years ago, right?
You got canceled?
I got canceled in Latin America. It was crazy.
What happened?
We made a course about how to pick up girls from Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
And it made international news coverage. It made international news coverage all over Latin America, right? It was insane, dude. It was pretty fucking nuts. It's pretty nuts. And experiencing that, I don't think I would change it a single thing because it was such a eye-opening experience.
Mm-hmm.
But then, the crazy thing is like, I didn't even do anything. Like I literally was in a monogamous relationship with a hot chick I met on the street. My ex-girlfriend there was like a famous actress. So like, I really didn't want to fuck it up with her because she was a really nice girl and she was really attractive. And, I was just sitting at home watching or making YouTube videos and creating this course. And then we got canceled, right? And so I had to restart from scratch. And in a 2-year period, like I'm in a way better position than I've ever been, right? So again, put me in any city or any country in the world, I'll be able to recreate the results out of thin fucking air in a very short amount of time, right?
Dude.
And most guys won't be able to do that because they don't have the right mindset. They don't believe they can do it. They don't believe in themselves. They don't believe it's possible, right? And so, yeah, when you develop an impeccable confidence in who you are, you just know that you can do anything. You can set your sights on any goal and achieve it. And that kind of creates a confidence feedback loop, right? When you're a guy who just constantly sticks to your goals and achieves them or constantly, sticks to what your plans are, the smallest things, whether it's waking up every day, going to the gym, whether it's waking up at 9 a.m. to do a fucking live stream with MLD, right? or whether it's, going out to the club and, approaching the girls you want to talk to,
mm-hmm.
You're going to develop yourself into a guy who's fucking confident. And it's about staying consistent, right? If you do it over the course of like weeks or months, it's like hitting the gym, right? I got back in the gym 2 months ago. Before that, I wasn't really consistent over the last few years because of COVID. And I just told myself, if I stick to this for the next 30 days, I probably won't want to stop. I bet if I stick to this over the next 60 days, I'm going to be in great fucking shape. Now, what's funny about hitting the gym is you don't really notice the progression in yourself. But everywhere I go, fucking girls are approaching me now. I mean, it went from like me approaching girls consistently and having to be very like active with trying to get laid and very aggressive with trying to like pull chicks versus like last weekend, I swear to God, girls are just fucking approaching me, right? I'm at I know I have a buddy who lives in the penthouse across the street from mine and he's having a party at his place. And dude, I'm walking around his fucking house and girls are literally like just approaching me. They're making an excuse to talk to me or they're giving me like indicators of interest, kind of like checking me out. This one girl kind of like points at, like looks at me, waves at me, like points at her friend to try to like indicate that I should go talk to her fucking friend. Right. And I'm like, this is crazy. Right. Because the next progression in my game was just like wearing designer clothing and being in good fucking shape. Right. Mm-hmm. And I don't think I'm in the best shape I could possibly be in. Right. And so here's the crazy thing. I look at myself like I'm some skinny fuck and I need to hit the fucking gym. Right. But I mean, every single day, people are telling me, wow, you're in great shape from the last time I saw you. I have people asking me if I'm on steroids. And I'm thinking, like, am I really in that better shape? The only difference is I quit being vegan, started eating meat again, started hitting the gym every day again, right? And so, like, again, I'm not trying to say I'm, like, absolutely jacked, but people are noticing a difference. And the same way if you do game every single day, right? If you go out and practice game for 30 minutes a day or an hour a day, you hit the club at Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and you're not necessarily going out to just learn how to get laid and pick up chicks, but you're trying to actually improve your social skills, trying to get over your social anxiety, trying to improve your confidence, trying to improve the way you communicate, going in with a mindset of learning. You're trying to actually go out and just get good at speaking to people. You're trying to actually go out and just be a guy who's social, fun, charismatic, and develop your ability to make friends, develop humor, right? And if you do that for 2, 3, 4 months, your life's going to fucking change, bro. If you can do that 7 days a week for, a 2-3 month period, your life's going to change. So what I recommend for most of my students when they first start is go on a 30-day challenge, right? If you're struggling with being positive, let me ask you this, dude. No matter how fucking depressed you are or how in your head you are or how much you lack self-confidence, could you feel that way if you're having a threesome with 2 hot girls? Right? Obviously not. If you're having a threesome with 2 hot fucking chicks, right? It's very hard to be in a negative mindset. It's very hard to, be depressed, right? And so, like, I think part of why I'm so fucking positive is because I have a lot of sex. I get laid all the fucking time, and it just puts me in a very, like, heightened emotional state where I'm just feeling like, got laid last night. That was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Or like I have some weekends where I just have like these crazy, awesome sexual experiences. I'll hook up like 4 or 5 girls in a night. I'm thinking like, dude, this is crazy, right? It's hard to be in a depressed mindset when you have that, right?
Dude, I want to talk about that because you're talking about like, you know, you had sex with 11 girls last week and you're just like, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like, like the momentum is real, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you're just sub communicating on multiple levels. In my opinion, you're just sub communicating sexual abundance. And like, dude, women are monkey see, monkey do. So like, if they see you pre-selection, all this stuff. Plus, you probably have a pretty solid reputation. How long you been doing this club stuff now?
So it's funny because my first year in game, I started the club stuff. So I mean, almost a decade, like a very long fucking time.
You've
Yeah,
been
but I
running
went
this
from like
nightclub? You've been doing this promotions and stuff for a decade now?
close to 9 years.
Oh, dude,
Yeah,
that's a big part of it, man.
of
That's
course. Well,
awesome.
I mean, think about this, right? I started out on the fucking streets selling tickets for a $5 profit margin. And then, like, I mean, a club owner of one of the biggest clubs in Toronto, it's been around for 20 fucking years, just calls me. And he's like, how much do you want to host on New Year's? I'm like, yeah, give me $3,000. And he's like, $3,000. I'm like, $3,000. That's what, otherwise, like, I'm not going to do it. Right. So, like, I charge clubs like thousands of dollars a night now to go host at their venues because I'll bring out 150, 200 girls and sell 10 grand of liquor. Right. And so, yeah, I've gotten really good at nightlife as well and
Wow.
hosting parties.
That's fucking amazing, dude. That is like, honestly, it's just, I just love seeing guys like you because, you know, winners like seeing other guys win.
Sure.
And just your charisma, like just everything is just so magnetic. Like I can see why you're just bathing pussy. Going back to like when you identify guys who feel bad and stuff like that, what would you say is like the number one root cause that these guys feel bad about themselves and all that shit?
I mean, think about this, right? It's a victim mentality. We've all gone through fucking trauma, dude. I've got through all kinds of fucked up trauma. Dude, the girl I lost my virginity to, I had her boyfriend jump me and put me in a wheelchair. He was trying to literally trying to murder me, right? I ended up in the hospital. You got arrested. I got a lawyer settlement for me, right? Dude, I've had all kinds of fucked up trauma, right? Now, you can stay in your past thinking, oh my God, my ex-girlfriend left me. My wife left me. Went through this, went through that. I'm sad. I'm a fucking loser, all this shit, right? And most guys will just go through all this fucking bullshit, you know, mindset, mental, you know, mind games where they just feel like a fucking loser and they don't like, they're addicted to it. Like they're addicted to their negativity. Well, think about this, right? Emotions are so fucking addictive. When you're depressed, are you motivated to go to the gym or do you want to sit on the couch, play video games, watch movies and fucking jerk off? Right? You don't want to get out of your negative mindset, right? And even though on an emotional level, you kind of feel bad, right? Some part of you actually likes it. Some part of you likes being lazy. Some part of you likes, you know, not getting the result because in a weird way, it keeps you comfortable. And in a weird way, you know, it makes you feel kind of good. The emotions are kind of good when you know, feel negative, right? Think about this, right? If you run around shit talking people who are doing better than you, it actually makes you feel good, right? And it allows you to rationalize why you're not getting results, right? Well, that person must be a piece of shit, so they're a bad person, right? I mean, if you look at like Andrew Tate, for example, right? All the people who love him and support him are, you know, people who are ambitious, people who want to improve their lives, people who actually want to, you know, step out of their comfort zone and actually live a better life.
Hot girls
hate him are just like victim mentality, you know, these like young girls who are like lacking in the ability to take self-responsibility for their own life. Instead of just accepting your life is your fucking responsibility, right? And so, yeah, most guys who are caught up in a negative mindset or negativity, they just lack the ability to actually realize, look, if you're not getting laid, it's your fucking fault, right? If you're broke, it's your fucking fault, right? Because, dude, if I'm not making money, if I have a bad month of business, I accept that. Look, I'm probably doing something wrong. I'm probably fucking too many girls. I'm probably partying too much. Probably being a fucking retard, and I should focus on business, right? If I'm having a bad month with girls, I'll accept I'm probably working too much and I'm too focused on my career right now, and I should probably, you know, take a step back and enjoy my youth, right? It comes from both sides. So if you're not killing it in your career, if you're not killing it in your dating life, if you're really struggling with any areas of, you know, self-improvement, whether it's your fitness, your career, girls, or friendship, or whatever the fuck it is, or even just your ability to be positive and have goals, then you really need to, you know, take some responsibility for yourself and fucking reflect. You know, reflect on, you know, your life. Right? Most guys think we're going to live forever. We're not going to live forever. Most guys are not aware of the concept of you're going to die one day. And, you know, wake your fucking self up and realize, look, if you're only here for this much fucking time, are you really gonna sit around being all fucking negative, being all pissed off, because like, dude, I get depressed all the fucking time. I straight up do, bro. Last month, I mean, part of it's just like the weather in Toronto. It's fucking, dude. It's like it's below freezing. You go outside and you're freezing your ass off. But you know, my best friend right now is in Cuba right now. He asked me to come to Cuba with him, and I was thinking, do I want to go to Cuba? I'm like, not really. Like the weather's gorgeous. There's fucking hot girls everywhere, right? But then I'm like, if I'm just running around traveling all the time, it becomes a form of escapism, right? I don't want to go travel to other places versus making the place I live fucking awesome, right? And so I just accept it. I just accept everything I'm dealt, and you know, try my best to find the best parts of it all.
I love it so much. But I want to say, going back to the root cause, like, what do you think it is that causes these guys? They just are addicted to feeling bad for themselves. Do you think it ties to like trauma in their past, like their parents beat their ass or whatever the fuck, or they got bullied in high school, or
it's all these things, right? It's trauma. It's I mean, dude, I got fucking bullied in high school. My parents fucking beat my ass. My dad whipped me with fucking cables and shit, dude. It was fucked up. Like my dad was straight out of fucking India, dude. Like fucking whip my ass, right? Now, do I allow
I'm
that?
laughing because the same shit happened to me.
Sure, dude. I feel like it happened to a lot of people, man. And I mean, I've got all kinds of fucked up trauma, right? The question is, do you work through it, or do you allow it to, like, do you succumb to it, right? Do you succumb to the trauma? Do you succumb to your own mental weakness, or do you rise above it, right? I mean, I spent over 1,000 hours fucking meditating. Right. I did this meditation retreat called Vipassana. It's 10 hours a day. It's like 10 to 15 hours a day of meditation in the forest for 10 days straight. No phones, no talking, no entertainment, just meditation every day. You do nothing but meditate for 10 days straight. I've done that 3 fucking times. So I've spent literally a month just meditating in a fucking forest, right? Because again, we all fucking trauma, and you got to unwire that shit if you want to hit the next levels. So yes, it's trauma, which causes that victim mentality. Dude, at one point I had the fucking victim mentality. At one point I was thinking, oh, the reason, you know, I'm not getting results is because this and that and the victim mentality, right? And sure, people feel bad for you. You know what's even funny? You can use that to pick up girls. So on God, dude, if you're going through a horrible fucking breakup, you can just cry to fucking you chicks about how your girl's a hoe and this and that, and how, like, you know, she fucking cheated on you, or, you know, the guy she's like best friends with, you're probably sucking his dick. And a lot of girls will actually, like, it's funny when you have game, and like girls like you, and you know how to pick up girls, you can pretty much use anything to pick up girls. So anytime I'm going through a traumatic experience, I'll just vent to chicks, dude. I'll just vent to girls about, you know, I'm having this problem in my business, or, you know, one of my girlfriends being a fucking hoe, right? Like I have 3 girlfriends right now. So it's really funny how that works, right? Where you can actually use like your trauma to actually pick up chicks, right? But at some point, man, you got to get over your fucking trauma. Otherwise, you just end up living a shit life. You really just living a shit life. And so what's funny is, like, for me personally, I found pickup, and not I'm talking about like getting laid, not I'm talking about just like sex addiction, right? But like the art form of being able to actually go out and cold approach a woman and bring her into your life is a really interesting form of therapy. Because like, no matter how depressed I'm feeling, no matter how in my fucking head I am, no matter how fucking shit I feel, dude, if you put me in a social environment where I see hot fucking girls and I can just go up and talk to them, in order to get myself in my fucking head, stop thinking about my ex-girlfriend, stop thinking about this or that, or whatever fucking bullshit trauma that's trying to keep me in that victim mentality, right? By the time I've walked up to that girl and I'm talking to her, I'm feeling fucking great in my own body. In order to make sure she has a good response and she's feeling good emotions, I have to make myself feel good emotions, right? And so by the time I've made her, you know, get to that emotional state where she's conversational with me, I'm already feeling good and I'm getting over it. So in a weird way, picking up girls for me has been like the ultimate form of therapy.
Yeah. The energy transference is super real, right?
Yeah, it is.
So how do you teach somebody? How do you teach a guy how to feel good internally and also maintain that feeling? How do you do that?
It's actually a really good question, because for some guys it's easier than others. Some guys who don't, like, think about a guy who has a lot of like fucked up past trauma and a guy who doesn't. That's actually what I find really the difference between my coaching clients. You got a lot of guys who, this is why I love working with younger dudes. Like if a guy's like between 19 to 23, he's probably in a clean slate, extremely easy to coach. I can just like download the information from my brain, you know, implant it in him, and easy peasy, right? Versus a guy who's like 35 to 40. I mean, I have a ton of guys I work with, you know, all the way. Dude, I had a student who was in his 50s, right? fly in from fucking Europe to do a program with me back in August. And I mean, coaching him was actually pretty easy. Although, you know, the more advanced concepts, it's hard for him to fucking learn because the older a guy is, the more fucked up trauma they have. And if they haven't set on a path of self-development and already start working themselves, it becomes really challenging to effectively coach them as easy as it would be a younger guy, right? There's that concept, you can teach new dog old tricks, but it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, right? Because you've already got, you know, your brain set on a certain path. You're already wired with a certain set of beliefs. And so, yeah, there's a lot of unwiring. With a guy with a lot of trauma, there's a lot of unwiring. But then, you know, the guys who want to, you know, have that confidence and have that long-lasting change, you know, it really comes down to how bad do they want it? Because I can wire them with the right beliefs, but do they stay consistent and do they practice? Right? Like, dude, you can go to the fucking gym, learn the perfect form, and learn how to, you know, lift the best weights, and, you know, even like learn from a competitive, you know, bodybuilder how to lift weights, perform, and build your body. But do you stay consistent? You know, after your personal trainer fucking goes home, like how consistent do you stay, right? And so, yeah, that long-term success when it comes to learning these skills, yeah, it definitely comes down to the follow-through, right? Because the 10's not going to approach you. You actually got to go out and go meet her, right? You actually got to go out consistently and go fucking meet her, right? And so don't get me wrong, I have fucking days where I don't want to go out. Like this month, I'm only been going out on the weekends. I'm only been going out Fridays, Saturdays, and I'll just have like my girlfriends come over in the evenings, or like girls I'm dating, or like Tinder and stuff like that, or girls I'm at the club, I'll have them come out and stuff like that. But I still have girls over every single day, because when you're going out on the weekends, meeting so many fucking chicks, right? I mean, it's easy to line yourself up with dates every single night, right? So maybe you don't want to you don't feel like going out on a Tuesday night. Well, I'm sorry, bro, you're not going to get laid, right? You're not going to get laid as much as you could. Versus, you know, on your way to the gym, you see a hot fucking girl and you go talk to her, right? That's going to put you so far ahead of most guys, right? If you just do like 20, 30 minutes a day of day game, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or, you know, on a Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, you go out to a nighttime social venue, nightclub, bar, right? I don't even drink. Most guys think like I'm out drinking and partying all the time. I haven't drank alcohol in almost 5 years.
Really? I didn't know that.
I haven't drank alcohol in almost 5 fucking years. So everything I'm doing is sober. I've hooked up with probably around 250 women since my last drink, right?
Whoa,
and so,
that's
huge. I'm more of a facilitator, right? Where I'm in the nightlife industry, you know, selling fucking 20, 30 grand of booze every single fucking month, right? Bringing out hundreds of girls each month to nightclubs, parties, events, etc., right? But I'm not fucking drinking alcohol. And I'm full disclosure. I tell girls, I let girls know, like, look, because I mean, imagine doing what I fucking do and drinking all the time, man. Like,
dude,
it fuck you
I
up.
thought, like, because I thought you did drink, and I was just like, bro, this guy's in it deep. But now that's even more for me personally. I'm just like blown away now. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, again, you wouldn't be able to do what I do for as long as I do it with consistent alcohol use, right?
Right.
Like, it's just not good for you. And so, I mean, I quit drinking I quit drinking off and on for years, right? But like, I finally kicked the can about 5 years ago and just never looked back, and I don't need it.
Dude, that's fucking insane. So what do you do at the club? Like, people are consistently probably offering you booze and like, take a shot. Let's do this. What is it?
I'm like, no, thanks. I'm usually just like very like smiley. So it's funny, right? Because think about this. If someone offers you a drink, you say no, you kind of look like a dickhead, right? But if you like have a giant fucking smile and you're like, no, thank you, right? Well, then, I mean, they kind of like back off. Right? And then oftentimes people are pushy. I'm like, oh, I'll drink. Oftentimes when people are really, really fucking pushy, I'm like, no, I don't drink, right? And so it becomes a little bit awkward there, because it's like, what the fuck do you do, right? Like, how do you communicate like fuck off without being a dickhead, right? And so like, you never want to get confrontational,
right?
But yeah, it definitely, I wouldn't say it's a challenge. You gotta just be really centered in your frame. I definitely remember, you know, the first few years I was trying to quit drinking, because dude, it took me a long time to actually quit drinking. I mean, probably took me like 3 fucking years of like on and off drinking, right? Because again, you know, if you're a young dude, or you're very impressionable, or someone's offering you a drink and they pressure you into it, you know, that concept like peer pressure actually does exist, right? When people are just like trying to shove drinks down your throat, it definitely exists. You got to stay really centered. You got to like know why you don't want to drink, and just stay.
Yeah, that's right here. Having a solid frame. Yeah,
exactly. Having a really, really solid fucking frame of like your belief systems and what you stand for, I think is really important.
Dude, that's fucking lit, man. So when you're coaching with somebody, right, you notice he's in a bad like state. He's all fucked up or whatever. Like, what do you do? What do you like? Tell him like think of fucking puppies in a field. Like, think of like all these hoes you're gonna bang. Like, how do you pull him out of that, and how do you get him to maintain
Sure.
it?
Sure. Well, I mean, there's different mindset games we can go through. There's definitely different, like, for example, people are depressed. They can practice gratitude. You wake up in the morning and tell yourself 5 reasons you're grateful and all these different things, right? Well, one thing I'll say is like a guy who's like in a bad mindset when it comes to coaching, just trust in the process, right? Because I mean, I lay out a process and action plan for how to get from like point A to fucking point Z, right? From getting from, step 1 all the way to the fucking end, right? And so if you fall, it doesn't really matter what you fucking feel. The girls don't give a fuck what you feel. The girls don't give a fuck whether you're negative or positive. All they care about is how you make them feel, right? Like, what's one thing we both probably notice with the girls we date? All they really give a fuck about is the way you make them feel. Now, whether you make them feel awesome or like shit is based around many different things. And, you can get your woman to fully submit to you and she fucking loves that. And she feels like she's fulfilling in a really important role in a very powerful man's life, right? So that makes her feel fucking awesome, right? But think about this, if she felt that she's around some fucking low status dude, or she's around like a guy who's just not the fucking winner, she's not the man, dude, she doesn't want to fucking be around you. She's gonna feel like shit. She's gonna feel like a fucking loser herself, right?
Yeah.
And so you gotta like really just like disregard your own fucking emotions. Because it doesn't really matter what the fuck you're feeling, dude. It doesn't matter. Like, the girl does not give a fuck whether you feel negative or positive, whether you have approach anxiety or social anxiety, or whether you're feeling great, right? All she cares about is the emotional experience you're giving her. That's all she cares about, right? Women are we're all kind of narcissists, but dude, women really, really only give a fuck about, they don't see past their nose emotionally.
Yeah.
They just care about what they're feeling in that exact moment. If you make it feel negative emotions, you're going to run away. So the question really comes down to, not do you feel good right now and you want to talk to girls, or it really comes down to, do you actually want to get the girls, right?
Good shit. Evans has a question for you. He says, how do you get out of you're your own worst critic? What would you say about that?
I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily. I mean, there's 2 paradigms to come from, right? There's, impeccable self-love where you just like feel so much self-love for yourself. And if you're in a mindset of like constantly criticizing yourself from a place of negativity, thinking I'm a piece of shit, I'm a fucking loser, negative self-talk, that's a horrible thing. That's a fucking horrible thing.
That's right? Really, really, really prevalent. Super prevalent.
It's very common, right? And so one thing I do with my clients is trauma release meditation. So in order to, cure and heal these traumas, you can just do really deep meditation. If you actually just search up on YouTube, Justin Marc meditation, I have a 1-hour trauma release video where I do a guided meditation where I'm just teaching you how to like let go of these past traumas. And dude, I'll have the feedback I get from that video, dude. It's crazy. It only has 3,000 views. And it's so impactful because I have guys who listen to that video every single day and they'll just like meditate and cry and let go of their past traumas.
Wow.
Right?
Is this the guided inner child meditation for self-love?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So let me screenshot this. So you tell these guys, I'm gonna put the link in the chat so everybody can find it as well. Look at you, looking all Chad on here too. This is 3 years ago, still looking good. Thanks, you're over here doing this. So this is the one here, guided inner child meditation for self-love. Yeah. So what this does is they just play this and listen to it.
Just pop in some earphones, listen to it, quiet room. And if you do that every single day, I know it's a lot to ask because it's an hour long, but if you can be a guy who's in a negative headspace, you listen to that video once a day for the course of 8 weeks, your meditation scientifically proven to change your brain over the course of 8 weeks if you stay consistent with it. So similar to hitting the gym, similar to staying consistent with pickup, if you can just meditate every day for 8 weeks, it'll literally change you from someone who's extremely negative to someone who's extremely positive. So that's probably the biggest thing you can do to actually like change your mindset. Now, in terms of being your own worst critic, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like if you think, fuck, I really need to improve this area of my life, let's improve it. That's not a bad thing, right? I'm by far my own worst critic, but it's things that are like really fucking important. Right. It's like me telling myself, fuck, all I've done for the last month is, bang chicks. I probably need to make more money because, I made half as much money this month than I did last month. Right. And then, early this month, I hit record numbers in sales because I was like, well, fuck, I'm slacking. I was like pissed off at myself because I was absolutely fucking slacking with business. And then I hit like an all-time high record with fucking sales, right? So being your own worst critic isn't necessarily a bad thing. Negative self-talk, that is a horrible thing, right? Because at the end of the day, like I'll be my own worst critic and I'll say, hey, look, Justin, you got to prove this and you got to prove that. You know, the reason I started hitting the gym again is I was in fucking Europe with my buddy Luis. So Luis Picardo from the show To Capture Cheater. Again, big YouTuber, cool fucking dude. And he had a video of me actually approaching a girl. It was kind of like an infield video. And I looked at myself and I was like, I don't want to say I was like disgusted by myself, but I was really disappointed, man. Like I just looked like a skinny motherfucker. I looked like, dude, I was just mind fucked, right? What was a big deal breaker was, so my best friend, Matt Levine, I have a podcast with him, one of the best in the world with game. Dude's a cool motherfucker, right? And he flew in to Europe to come hang out with us. We were in Mykonos. And Matt ended up banging 3 girls in a day from cold approach. From cold approach, he pulled 3 different chicks in one night. And I was just mind fucked. I was like, holy shit. Even like, I mean, I get results like this all the time, but I was just like, I was pissed off because like my best friend I've done game with for 10 years. I mean, I want to pick up for him back in 2013. So we've been friends for almost 10 years now. And he pulled 3 girls in one night. I didn't pull any that night. I was fucking livid, dude. I was pissed off. You know what I mean? See someone else get results. And
why do you think you didn't pull? What
well,
was
so
wrong?
Get this, right? So we actually pulled 2 girls together. And I was just like really fucking tired. It's like 5 in the fucking morning. We pull these girls from the fucking streets of like downtown Mykonos back to our villa on the other side of the island. And, you know, these girls were like down. The girl he's with is fucking like hitting on me. The girl I'm with, which is her friend, is on the phone with her boyfriend. She's like crying. So I'm thinking, fuck, this chick has a boyfriend, right? But the reason she was crying was she had just kind of accepted that I'm going to like fuck these cool dudes. And I didn't realize at the time. And I'm just like kind of pissed off and I go to bed. And so then Luis comes in my room and he's like, dude, why did you leave? These girls were down to fuck. I just fucked both of them. So I spent all this time pulling these fucking chicks, right? And not closing the deal because I went to fucking bed. My buddy Matt smashed both of them. My buddy Luis, who wasn't even there with the fucking pull, just walks in the room, hooks up with both of them. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? Right? And the issue, the underlying issue was I wasn't being process oriented. I was being very result oriented, and I kind of got like annoyed because I was tired and I went to fucking sleep. Right? So I was super fucking pissed at myself. Super pissed off. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking go hit the fucking gym. I spent like fucking 15 grand on designer clothing. Started working out every single fucking day, you know, hitting the gym. And then I did day game every single, like to essentially punish myself. I just forced myself to do day game every single day for like a month and a half. Right. And the reason is because I don't like day game. I fucking
When was this?
This is so I mean the Mykonos trip was end of September. I got back to Toronto early October. So from like the beginning of October to like mid-November, I used to day game every single day, hit the gym every single day, no fucking breaks.
So this was a few months ago.
Say again?
This was just a few months ago.
Yeah, just recently, right?
Wow.
And I mean, in that time, dude, I probably smashed. I don't know how many girls I hooked up with, but let's put it this way: from like mid-November till like now, I probably smashed like 25, 30 girls. I couldn't even tell you, dude. Like in the past like month, I've just girls every single fucking day, dude. It's retarded, right? And it's because I had realized I'm like, look, I haven't been process oriented. I've been very result oriented. Because at some point, it gets really easy to pick up girls, right? When you're living this lifestyle, when you have all this access that I have, it becomes like stupidly easy to just bang your regular girls or like just rely on your social status to hook up with girls and not rely on like the fundamental process that got me to where I'm at. So I just like, I mean, sometimes I like to, you know, step off my high horse and like just eat fucking shit to make sure I hammer the fundamentals. And so again, I'm just doing day game every fucking day. Dude, I only banged like 2 girls from day game over that period of time. But those 2 girls I banged from day game, they're 2 of my girlfriends now. So one is this gorgeous 18-year-old virgin. I haven't taken virginity yet. She's a virgin, right? Like we hook up and like we do stuff, but you know, I haven't popped the cherry yet. And the other is this really cute fucking chick, and they're both loyal to me. Right? And then I already had another girlfriend. So like now I have like 3 loyal girlfriends, right? And so the whole point is, you know, focusing on that process, right? Because I was really pissed off that I looked like a skinny bitch. And I was really pissed off that I wasn't getting the exact results I want to see at the snap of my fucking fingers because I wasn't following the right processes, right? And my lack of results was purely coming from my lack of being process oriented, right?
Mm.
Look, as a man, you can cry all you fucking want about not getting the result you want to get, not making the money you want to get, not fucking, step one will always lead you to step two. 1 + 1 will always equal 2, right? 1 + 1 will never equal 3, right? So if you want to get to a certain level of success in anything, in your fitness, in your finances, everything you talk about, right? It's right there, dude. Your money, muscles, game. That's exactly what I'm talking about here, right? It's like I was really fucking pissed off myself that I looked like a skinny anorexic fuck, right? So I was vegan for 3.5 years.
Right.
So I started just fucking eating meat. I just told myself, fuck being vegan. Started eating fucking steak, and I eat steak every fucking night. And I fucking take weight gainer and I hit the fucking gym. I put on 15 pounds and I look fucking great, right? I was pissed off that, I was only banging girls from my clubs and not banging girls from Cold Approach. So I forced myself to go travel Europe for a month and do day game and eat shit during there, in new countries, fucking new places where I don't speak the language. I was still pulling girls. Right. Then I forced myself to do day game back in Toronto because I fucking hate day game, dude. It's such a slow process. It takes fucking forever to think about this, right?
It's a massive time sink.
Dude, it's such a time sink, right? Because one night in the club is the same results as 1 week in day game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I could probably pull 1 girl a week doing day game, right? But I could pull 1 to 2 to 3 girls a night doing night game, right? Sometimes more, right? Now I don't want to fucking mislead anybody. I didn't smash 11 girls last weekend. It was 8 girls, 2 blowjobs, and a hand job, right? And the whole point is in order to get there, I become extremely process-oriented. Every weekend I look at, I'm like, how can I put in the least amount of effort to get the maximum amount of fucking pussy? So I'll go on Instagram. I'll look at what girls see my Instagram stories. So I'll post hey, I'm doing a party here. You follow me on Instagram, so you see all the parties I do, right?
Yeah.
If you guys don't believe me, go watch my Instagram stories. Go follow me on Instagram. My Instagram's Drunk Justin 2, or search up Justin Marc on Instagram. Okay. You can follow me every single weekend. You can see me following this exact process, right? The way I'm able to get, 120 girls out on a Friday night in the middle of winter when there's no one even going out is because I'll look at my Instagram story. I'll see there's 3,000 people see my Instagram story, mostly hot girls. And I'll go DM all the girls who'd seen my fucking Instagram story. Every girl who sees my Instagram story that day, I'll be like, hey, are you coming to the club tonight? We've got bottles. It'll be fun as fuck. Free entry for you and all your girls. Come out. And I'll send that to fucking 300 girls, and maybe 20 groups of girls will come out and they'll each bring 5 friends. And now I have 100 fucking girls in my club. Right. So it becomes very similar process to doing sales. If you reach out to 300 girls and, 15 of them come out and they each bring, 5, 10 friends. Now you have 100 girls in a nightclub or at a party. Right. And so for New Year's, I'm probably going to bring out fucking 400 girls that weekend. Right. And so the whole point is, following the process. So, figure out the process is and follow it. Find the guys who have the process for you, right? You have coaching programs, you have the Masculine Empowerment Network, right? So you have a process for guys to develop, that frame or that mindset or get out of, all these cycles of negativity. And I'm going to come, be a guest speaker on, your next
in January,
right? In January. And so you have you have something to offer that will allow guys to, follow that process. Right. And so you got to go find guys who have a process and can lay it out for you. And this might be a good time to mention, I do free phone calls where I do free coaching. Now, my clients, I'll charge them $1,000 an hour for one-on-one consulting, even on the phone. But one thing I try to offer is my most loyal fans and my most loyal audience who actually want to learn these skills, I give them a free customizable action plan on a phone call where I'll talk to them for even up to an hour. I usually don't go longer than an hour. Sometimes it's a 5-minute phone call. Sometimes it's a 10-minute phone call. Sometimes it's a 30-minute phone call. Sometimes it's an hour phone call. If you go to my website, justinmarc.com, and you just fill in your information, you can actually get a free phone call with me. So, pretty much click the red button, apply now on my website, fill out your information, be as detailed as possible so I know I can help you. And then what we'll do is we'll jump on a call and we'll come up with a game plan on how to get you to that next level of your game, how to get the next level of your soul skills. We'll diagnose the underlying issue because most guys can't even figure out what their underlying issue is, right? I wish when I was learning these skills that I could call someone like me and figure out what the underlying problem is that's not getting me that next level, right? I can talk to a guy for 2 minutes. I can tell them what their issue is and how to get them to the next level. And so what we'll do is we'll diagnose your fundamental issues. We'll come up with a game plan to get you that next level. And, you know, by the time we're done your call, you're going to have a very good framework on how you can actually start improving yourself, how to get to that next level. And with some of you guys, I might even be able to help you and help you get to the next level. Some of you guys, maybe you're not qualified for me to help you, but I might be able to send you some like free resources, my book, an online course, or something like that. Give you free access to some training material for free to get to the next level regardless. So, I mean, this is something I'd recommend to anyone watching this who does want to get to the next level. Just go to my website, justinmarc.com, apply for a call with me. And I mean, we can bring you there and help you get to that next level.
Let me ask you this. So I've been on a personal kind of journey myself, and I'm realizing that like inner game is the number one thing that fucks guys up with everything. Money Muscles game frame always comes back to inner game.
Absolutely.
It's like you can make $1 million, you can get jacked as shit, you can get a fucking million hot girls, but if your inner world is fucked up, eventually it'll pull you back down to zero.
I agree completely. And I think that's kind of what got me really good results early in when I first started game, is I just had a really good inner game, and my focus was always inner game. Like from the time I started, man, like it was all about like working out for me. It was never about being jacked, being looking, being attractive. It was about feeling like I'm a fucking man. Right. And so for me, it was always about inner game. I don't really think like there's an outer game. There's always like techniques you can use, and that's cool too. Like, sure, you can use like certain lines and gimmicks and tactics and strategies. And I think that is important as well. But the thing is, man, inner game, once you get that handled, everything kind of just falls into place, right? Everything kind of auto-corrects once you got a good handle on who you are inside. And that's where most guys are lacking, is inner game, right? It's like when you have a really strong sense of self, a really strong frame, a really strong inner version of you, everything's just going to fall into place. And I mean, I remember being in fucking Thailand on a meditation retreat. You know, I was like fucking 21 years old. And I met this man in his 50s. Dude's like married, has kids. He's like rich business dude. And he's just like in this meditation retreat crying about how he just like fucked up his life because he was too focused on money and not focused enough on his family life and, you know, being a good father and, you know, being a good role model for his family. Right. And I remember one thing that stood out to me that he said was, you know, he wouldn't even pick up the phone call unless there was money on the other end of it. So he'd neglect his kids, he'd neglect his wife, and it kind of just fucked him up. And I'm seeing this like grown man like in tears and crumbling. And it made me realize, man, if you don't really get a really good sense of centeredness on who you are inside, you're left with nothing, bro. You're really not left with nothing, right? And so what is really important is really focusing on what's inside, and then you can focus on what's on the outside, right? So like get your inner world handled first, get your inner, you know, mindset, you know, on fucking track. And then you can worry about the tactics and the tricks to pick up girls. Then you can worry about all the other things. So for me, game was always the most important thing before even making money, right? What I find is a lot of guys want to make money and get rich before they can focus on, you know, dating and picking up girls.
Think that'll pull the girl.
Exactly. A lot of guys think, oh, well, if I just make money, then I'll get girls. Well, that's not fucking true.
Not true at all.
Friends who make a ton of money and they're fucking losers, dude. Dude, money only makes you more of who you are. Bro, I swear to God, man, I can't tell you how many guys I see who are rich as fuck. But I look at them like they're fucking losers. And I don't want them at my fucking parties. I don't want them around me because I look at like they're fucking losers. You know what I mean?
What do they look like? Could you like articulate on that a little bit more?
Like, dude, you'll have a guy, like, I don't want to name names, right? Just in case he's watching this. I know a dude who runs a fucking 8-figure, kind of like traditional brick and mortar style business. Dude's like 32 years old, 33 years old. And like, so on paper, he sounds like he's a cool dude. And it's like, okay, you know, he's got this money. And then he kind of was a student of mine, but not really. He was like more in my circle. So I kind of just like learning from being around me. And it got to a point where like, I just realized I don't really want him around me. Like I didn't formally coach him, right? So he's very arrogant and he thinks he's like on my level of social competence when he's not, right? And it just kind of is frustrating because a guy who's like very socially articulate, very socially aware, they can smell bullshit a mile away. And so you'll see guys like that who think they're on your level of game, and then they come around you and they act very leechy, or they do things that kind of like make you apprehensive to want to hang out with them. You know what I mean? And I look at these types of dudes like they're just fucking losers, dude. Right? They think because they have money, you know, they're like, good for
entitled.
you, bro. You're good for you. Congratulations. But it's like, that doesn't make you a cool dude. That doesn't make you a likable individual. That doesn't make girls want to sleep with you. That doesn't make you a guy where, you know, other men respect you, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, if you're a cool dude and you have money, that's fucking awesome. If you're a great fucking guy, you've got the heart of the lion, you've got incredible inner character, right? And you got money, that's fucking great, right? But again, money only makes you more of you, and it kind of like almost brings the who you are to the surface sooner, right? And so, yeah, I would say like focusing on your money is great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't make money. I'm not saying that. But, you know, a mistake I find a lot of guys make is they focus on money first, and now they've let their youth go by. Now they're in their fucking mid-30s, and it's really difficult to learn game, you know, later in life. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, right? Because you got to start somewhere. But think about this. I wanted to learn martial arts. I want to do boxing, right? So, I mean, I'm 27 years old. I started boxing when I was 20 years old, right? Then I broke my hand, right? Because I got in a fight at a bar, and I had this 300-pound black guy break my finger. And true story. And so I stopped boxing. Now, I got back into boxing early this year, and I realized, like, fuck, if I want to get to a level of, like, decent skills in boxing and competence in boxing, it's going to take me 3 years to get the basics down, 5 years to get, you know, a basic handle and be, like, competent at boxing. It'll probably take me, like, 8 years to get to a level of, like, okay, I'm a boxer now. I'm thinking, like, fuck, do I even have that time and dedication to stick to this and dedicate to it? So in the same way, I mean, like, dude, game works the same way, where it's like, if you get a handle on your game right fucking now, and you start learning right fucking now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you could be in a position, in a place where you don't really have to worry about girls. You don't really have to worry about, you know, where the next time you get laid comes from. Because, like, I don't wake up every day and think, you know, how am I get laid? I just, like, follow our process, and then girls show up to my house, right? Last night, I had no plans. It's like, I was at the gym. I had no fucking plans. I text some fucking chick. I matched on Tinder. I have on Instagram. I'm like, hey, what are you doing tonight? You know, you want to come see me tonight? And she said, oh, I can't. I'm busy hanging out with friends. I'm like, what are you doing after, right? So, like, I mean, to me, dealing with girls is kind of like sales. You're dealing with all these objections. She pretty much told me no, like, she couldn't see me. And I'm like, well, what are you doing after? And she's like, okay, cool, I'll come see you, right? You know, I beat objection 1, beat objection 2, and then objection 3. Okay, overcome that. Now she's coming to see me. And I had this cute Filipino girl come over with a tight fucking body, wicked butt. You know, we smashed her a couple of times, and I sent her on her way, right? And so, again, it's all about following that right process. And it really comes to handling it now, dude, because if you don't handle it now, when will you? That's the question I ask most guys. If you don't solve these issues you're having right now in game, where do you think you're going to be 5 years from now?
Yeah. And not only that, but those issues are going to grow and get worse.
I mean, it's not going to get better.
No.
Right? As you get older, it just becomes more difficult. You become more rooted in, you know, that bullshit, whether it's trauma stopping you from getting results, whether it's, you know, the negative mindset you might have, whether it's, you know, just being in routine. Maybe you're just like stuck in a cycle of routine. Maybe you're a cool guy and you don't have trauma and you're a nice guy. You just don't know what to do. Right. But you're just stuck in this like autonomous fucking routine of doing the same shit every day, going to work, you know, and you're not getting results with women. Well, when are you going to change that? Right. If you don't change it now, when will you? Right. And so, I mean, the first thing I did when I wanted to get good with, you know, self-improvement, the first thing is to hit the gym. That was number one. Because that gave me confidence to say, well, hey, if I can improve this area of my life, maybe I can improve other areas of my life.
Right.
Then I started improving my game. And once I got to a level of like decent game, once I'd smashed like over 100 girls, I was like, you know what? Now I guess I should probably start making money. So about 6 months after I started, I had banged like over 100 women. I started making over 6 figures a year. Right. And I found one thing that was really crazy is game kind of gave me a really good business foundation. Yeah. Because I mean, I almost found like your frame with game and your ability to do business parallels, right? Like if I could go out and meet beautiful women and figure out what their incentive is and figure out what type of person they are and then give them the exact experience they want to have and almost like transform myself into being the guy they want me to be, whether they want me to be the romantic boyfriend, right? Like get this, right? My main girl was complaining I won't get her flowers, so I got her fucking flowers, right? Versus like other girls want me to be like this cool, like douchebag fuckboy party guy, right? So like, I'll just like kind of like adapt to whatever frame the girl wants me to be and the experience she wants to have. And I'm giving her the exact experience she wants to have. I mean, after I realized that, I'm like, holy fuck, I can do the same thing in business, right? You do the exact same thing in business. You find clients and help them solve complex problems and you make really good money doing that, right? And so the more complex the problem you solve, the more money you make. So it's the exact same thing.
And so let me tie this into it, because I think this is what I say, right? And this is why I added at the beginning. I used to say money muscles game, but then I realized like frame is like absolutely the most important part.
Sure.
Because I talked about it. I actually have my thing here that I wrote it out recently, like my inner frame statement, and I'm going to be talking about that at the Masculine Empowerment Network. But just like having a grounded sense of self, of who you are, and then enforcing those boundaries. Because like having boundaries is one thing, but enforcing them is the most important thing. Because if people encroach on your boundaries, then they're encroaching on you, and that eats away at your confidence, right? Absolutely. So with my philosophy has been changing lately, but it really changed big time from last year. I believe that everything, money muscles, game, frame, it's all connected to inner game. Do you agree or disagree?
I couldn't agree more. And I think this is why I've gotten a lot of success really early in life, is I realized it's really fucking early. I realized this material and this mindset extremely fucking early, where I realized that like everything was connected to your inner self, right? Like think about this. If you want to make more money and you're feeling extremely empowered, you can go do it, right? But if you're in a place where you're not really feeling empowered, it's going to be really difficult, right? Like I have a great example of this. If you break up with your girlfriend and you're an entrepreneur and your income is tied to the amount of free time you have and your mindset, it's going to be really hard to, make money, right? So I found that every time I go through a fucking breakup with a woman I really care about, it's hard for me to fucking make money, right? Or similarly, like most guys, I mean, I don't fall in this category because like I've just got my process so tight. But most guys, when they break up with their girlfriend, they don't get laid for a while, right? Yeah. Versus when you walk in the street and you've got a hot girlfriend, it just seems like every girl wants to fuck you. Every girl's checking you out. Every girl just makes excuses to talk to you, right? Versus, if you don't have that inner game because you lost your girlfriend cheated on you, whatever, you feel like a bitch. Right? It's really hard for the average guy to, replace their girl. Now, because I'm a professional and because I'm a professional dating coach, and literally my job is being around hot girls and picking up chicks. I mean, I broke up with a girlfriend early this year. I slept with 15 girls in the next 2 weeks. So I thought that was fucking nuts. I remember breaking up with my girlfriend, being fucking so sad because I really like this girl. I wasn't like devastated because I knew I'd bounce back, but I was pretty sad because I'm like, damn, I really like this one. But I hooked up with 5 girls the next day. I was like, maybe breakups aren't so bad, right? Yeah. And so most guys won't be able to do that. Most guys won't be able to get even close to that fucking level of success, right? So of course, everything ties back into inner game. Because like if you think about what your outer world is, it's just a perception of your inner world, right?
That's deep.
It's your 5 senses, right? Like if you think about even relationships, this is something that really trips me out when I think about a relationship. On dating a girl, it's like, were you really even in a relationship? Like, how well did you even know that girl? Like, you don't get to actually live inside her head and see what she's thinking and see the world she lives in, right? And so really your relationship is just a perception of your time with her, of your limited time with her. It's not like you're with her 24/7, right? So yeah, your outer perception is kind of like, your outer world is just a perception of what's going on inside your own fucking head and the way you perceive the world, right? Through your 5 senses. Right? Yeah. And through your mindset. And so it definitely comes down to having a really strong inner game. And I think I can define what it is to have a really strong inner game right now. It's being a man who's incredibly confident who you are, where you come from, the place you come from, your family values or the values you give yourself, like such as your frame that you kind of brought up, your own philosophy as a man, and who you are inside. Your ability to go out in the world and create value for others and provide, experiences for others and, give people the experience that they want to have from you. That doesn't mean being a supplicator. That doesn't mean like falling in other people's frame. But that means being a man who has so much value to offer that you can just attract those who would be drawn to the value you can offer, right? And then also being a man who has very strong boundaries and not letting people, encroach on those boundaries, and, kind of setting up those boundaries. So whether it's, a roommate you live with, whether it's a girlfriend you're dating, whether it's a client you're doing business with, whether it's just a friend you have a good relationship with, right? Making sure that you guys understand each other's boundaries and respecting other men's boundaries as well. I think that's really important. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good way we can define game. And then, and my definition of game, by the way, is inner game. Like that's just how I define it.
For sure.
And then just constantly, the last thing I'd say is just constantly working on yourself day in, day out to develop yourself. Like think about this, right? If you can work on yourself 1% each day, I think you're constantly gonna be working to a higher level. Like the way I see it, even with like, career development business, it's like, if I can make, 1% more money each day.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be fucking great.
Oh yeah.
Right. Just aim to improve yourself 1% each day. If I can get myself 1% more jacked in the gym every single day, if I could get 1% hotter girls every single day, if I could hook up with, 1%, I don't know how you quantify that with 1% more women each day, but like 1% hotter women each day when you go out and meet new women, or approach 1% more women each day. So maybe instead of approaching 10 girls one day, you approach 11 girls that night out at the club, right? You're going to constantly find yourself pushing past your comfort zone, pushing past your edge, and never get too comfortable. That's one thing I think is really important, because most guys don't realize how everything you have can just be taken away from you like that. Seriously. Everything, dude. You can lose your house. You can lose your girl. Dude, your fucking money could drop. One thing that can never be taken away is who the fuck you are inside, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, dude, I know, dude, take away all my money. Take away my gorgeous fucking penthouse. Take away my network. Take away all my friends, all my connections, and all my girls. All 3 of my girlfriends, because I had fucking 5-6 girlfriends. I know it sounds fucking insane. So in early November, I was in like 5-6 relationships, dude. And it was a fucking nightmare. The average guy will get in a fight with one of his girlfriends, and he'll be like, dude, he'll be in emotional turmoil. And I remember there was a day, it was specifically Halloween weekend. It was a Saturday before Halloween. Dude, I woke up that day, man. That was fucking one of the worst days of my life. Girlfriend calls me, get in a fight with her. Another girlfriend calls me, get in a fight with her. 2 of my girlfriends are at the club, one of which who I got pregnant and had an abortion. I found out that night that I knocked her up, right? I didn't know. Right? She's my old assistant. I was also dating her. And so I'm like in a fight with 4 girlfriends that day. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck? Why do I feel so shit? I'm having a shitty day, right? And so like I chopped down to 3 girlfriends, right? Again, you take away all these girlfriends, dude. I'm unaffected. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you take away all of these things. I'd probably be pretty pissed off. Dude, you take away my penthouse, that would suck. Take away all the money, that would suck. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, I'd be in a position 2 years later where I'm living better. I'd be living better 2 years later, right? Take away it all, start from scratch. Because I mean, I've had to start from scratch, right?
Let me ask you this, tying that all into inner game, right? When did you realize, like, could you explain your inner game prior to the healing? What were you like? What was your aura? What was everything about you like?
So what's interesting about having a strong inner frame and inner game before healing past trauma, because again, I spent over 1,000 hours meditating, right? I spent about 300 to 400 hours meditating in the forest, and then like probably around like 600 hours or so on my own practicing meditation, right? So before like actually healing past trauma, before actually overcoming all that, I had a really strong frame and a really strong game as well. I was super, super young though, right? So I was like 20 years old, 21 years old. And the issue I had was there was a lot of self-sabotage, right? Wow. So I would find myself in positions where at a very early age, I'm very successful, and then it all comes crumbling down and crashes and burns, right? So I'd find myself in positions where, from the outer perspective, it seems like I'm fucking killing it. But then like I'd shoot myself in the foot, right? And it seems like I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? So that's an issue where like you'll see a lot of celebrities do this, right? A lot of celebrities will get to a very high level of success very, very quickly, virtually overnight. It seems like it happened overnight, but they didn't actually spend the years working on themselves, right? And so here's a really interesting case study, right? If you look at Andrew Tate, why did he get so much success so quickly? Well, it's because it didn't actually happen that quickly, right? He's been working on himself for like fucking 15 to 20 years, right? He was practicing martial arts, which is a very, very high level form of self-development. But even outside of that, he's practicing entrepreneurship. It's very obvious from anyone who studies self-help and self-development, he's practicing all types of different ways of investing himself, practicing all these things, money, muscles, game frame, and self-development. I'm sure he practices all kinds of healing. I'm sure he does meditation, right? And so when he hit these high levels of success, even he got canceled in the media and stuff like that. But he bounced back like that, dude. He's fucking killing it, right? And so what I think is really interesting about that is he had that underlying foundation to, keep him strong. Versus, I mean, dude, you'll see a lot of celebrities, they pop up overnight. They get super successful. You see this with like a lot of Disney stars, right? They get really successful. They're extremely famous. They have the reach of millions of people, but then they're fucking doing drugs, right? They end up in jail, right? You find them like just like fucked up emotionally.
Yeah.
And then like they crumble, right? Because they didn't really work on themselves. They didn't build the roots. Like think about this, right? If a tree gets really, 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 really large, but doesn't have the roots to keep itself grounded and keep itself stable, right, in the earth, it's going to fall over. There's a big windstorm, it'll fall over, right? And so in the same way, you got to kind of develop your own roots. You got to develop your own, groundedness. And, trauma's not a bad thing, dude. You just got to overcome it. You just got to overcome all that trauma. It's not a bad thing because overcoming it is what will allow you to develop yourself. What I personally believe trauma allows you to do is strengthen your frame. Either you succumb to the weakness, be a little bitch, right? Or you overcome that trauma and you strengthen your frame, right? And you strengthen that, your masculine inner core, right? And so that's what I think is really important. And so you look at a lot of guys who don't heal and don't overcome all these past, emotional barriers.
A certain person in Brazil comes to my mind. You can see it on them.
I mean, you know what it is. You know what it is. I don't
see, no, we're not gonna say any names, but you can clearly see it. Clearly.
Of course, man. I mean, well, think about this, right? Why do you see like all these rappers wildly successful, right? And they're shooting each other. Dude, one of the fucking Migos rappers, I don't know if you're into rap music at all, right? But like one of the fucking Migos rappers got fucking shot recently.
Yeah, died.
This motherfucker, multimillionaire, super successful, world famous, and he's like fucking gambling on the street and gets shot. Like, to me, it's just so stupid, right? Or you see a lot of these like really successful rappers like overdosing on fucking drugs.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really fucking sad. It's really sad to see.
Super sad.
Because like they make it to such a heightened level of success where you're literally famous, rich as fuck, and then you're just overdosing on drugs. It's because there's underlying things that they haven't overcome. They haven't really mastered their sense of self. Now, look at any successful person who's had a very lengthy career. Like, look at a lot of like the OG rappers who spent, decades in the industry and they're wild, like Jay-Z. Right? Fucking billionaire. Right? So when you can actually overcome all those past traumas, all those you can overcome all those past, emotional barriers that were stopping you, past traumas, abuse, all these fucked up things, past girl issues, right? You can actually become a guy who's really, really high level, really, really fucking high level. And one thing I've really never really liked about the red pill community is you got two schools of thoughts. You got the guys who really are about improvement, really about, becoming a better version of yourself. Then you got the guys who are like, kind of like, I hate women, all my issues are my ex-girlfriend's problem. Like, dude, you got to take responsibility for yourself, right? Because like I've been through it all too. I mean, I was engaged at 22 years old. At 22 years old, I had a gorgeous girlfriend from Mexico living with me, traveling the world with me. She was a stakeholder in my business. And like, we broke up. Breaking up with her was kind of like going through a divorce. I thought I was going to marry this girl, right? And it was crazy to me. It's like when I broke up with her, I was like, holy shit, right? I never thought I was going to break up with this girl. I thought like, we were going to be together forever. When I broke up with her, I felt like I had to give her half my shit. I literally felt like all the money I made, I should give you half. I didn't. I didn't, but I felt like I should. I gave her some money. I gave her some money and like sent her on her way and stuff like that. Because like, I mean, I spent like fucking very long time with this girl and she helped me build my business. When I met this girl, I was fucking flat broke on my ass, and like
I've had a girl like that. I've had a girl like that.
And so, when I broke up with that chick, I was thinking, man, I have every reason in the world to fucking think, follow the MGTOW guys and think like women are the problem. But as a man, you got to take responsibility for your own life and your own actions. You got to take responsibility for, dude, your life is your fucking responsibility. It doesn't matter what life handed to you. So actually, what's really interesting, I have a video that just came out on my channel like a few days ago of one of my bootcamp students who had a disability. So he has cerebral palsy. You guys ever seen Breaking Bad, the show Breaking Bad with the dude who sells meth, right? So in Breaking Bad, you have the main character, Walter, his son. He has cerebral palsy. Dude can't walk. He has like a wheelchair, has like a cane, right? And I had a student exactly like that. A student who literally had cerebral palsy. Dude could barely walk, right? And it's all documented. It's all on my fucking YouTube channel. You see this guy show up with a positive fucking attitude, tired of being the victim, wants to change. And on the boot camp, he fucking pulls girls. He's pulling you can see him on video making out with a chick, right? And so it really shows you, like, it doesn't matter who you are, dude. Like, take responsibility for your life. Your life will fucking change. Or be the victim and complain about whatever it is.
So let me ask you this, right? About taking responsibility, not being the victim. At what point did you realize, wait, at what age were you just like, my inner game's the problem?
I mean, I think I realized it really early in, dude. I was extremely insecure. Dude,
how old were you?
I mean, like, I don't know what your high school experience is like, but I mean, when I was in high school, I'd have like fucking panic attacks. If a girl looked at me, I'd go home and have fucking panic attacks. Like, I can't even put it into words. Like from the outer side, it looked like everything's normal. And I'm like, I'm just kind of shy. I would literally go home, sit there on my parents' staircase for 4 hours and like almost like fetal position and just like think and like just like a girl staring at me and a girl saying hi to me. I would like have a panic attack for 4 to 5 hours every single evening about some chick staring at me and saying hi and rationalizing, maybe I should say hi back. Maybe I should have said this. Maybe she likes me. And I'm just like in my own fucking head. So going from having like, manic episodes of social anxiety and panic attacks from girls even staring at me, or even guys talking to me, I'd have the same fucking thing. Right? To being able to, travel around the world, speak in front of like hundreds of people, make YouTube videos that get seen by, literally millions of people, talk live to how many people watching this, and, sleep with countless women, coach thousands of guys over the years have been doing this in person. It's crazy to me that I've gone to this level, right? And so, like, man, if I fucking did it, I truly believe anyone could fucking do it. And that's why I'm like a huge advocate for like stopping a bitch, man the fuck up, and, take responsibility for your life. Because again, like I had to do it. I still have to do it, right? Every time some issue comes up, every time I have like some kind of crazy shit going on, I still have to take responsibility for life, because you're only given one life, dude. And I mean, no one's gonna take responsibility for your own life, right? Your mommy and daddy aren't gonna come fucking save you. Be like, it's okay, son, right? When I was in fucking Brazil, having a media scandal all over Latin America, I remember my fucking dad called me and he's like, "Why are you in the news? Like, what you're saying isn't even that bad." So the main there's a bunch of reasons, but is my business partner, Bradicus.
Yeah.
It was kind of like his media scandal. I kind of got looped into it, but Bradicus had like media scandal in any country we went to, so I should have figured we would eventually had one. But just think about this. Essentially, what happened?
Did he engineer it?
Say again?
Did he engineer it?
We kind of, like, I don't want to say we didn't engineer it. Like, we pretty much did. Like, there was think about this. We were meeting so many girls during COVID lockdowns in Mexico City, which has like 25 million people, right? And there was no tourists at the time because it was COVID lockdowns. Everyone flew home to their home countries. Me and Brad were the only fucking tourists in Mexico City the entire time. And I mean, I was in a relationship, but I was still meeting a ton of girls. We were having parties with girls from Tinder. I remember we had this one Tinder party. There was like 30, 40 girls there. I smashed 5 girls that day. There was like 9 girls in the same room that I hooked up with. I'm thinking, this is crazy, right? At the time, I'd never done anything like that. At the time, I'd never been in a room with 9 girls I had sex with, right? Now that's actually very normal. At my club, every weekend, I'll have like a dozen girls that I hooked up with, right? But at the time, because this is like two and a half years ago, that was insane to me, right? And so what was really crazy is Brad would set up 10 dates a day, every single day, right? And he'd go on like one date and flake the rest of them. We were meeting so many girls from online dating that he would just set up he'd set up like a dozen dates at the same fucking time at different bars on the same street. And he'd just like not show up. Or he'd like go and be like, "Oh, that girl's ugly." Go to the bar across the street on his next Tinder date. Like, "Oh, this girl's cute." Sit down for 2 minutes, talk to her. Like, "Hey, I'm gonna use the bathroom." Go across the street to the third date, pull that girl home, and then just like flake the rest of them, block them. So I mean, imagining that for 6 months straight. Of course, we're gonna have a media scandal, and like they weren't alleging anything. There's no criminal issues or anything like that. They weren't like saying that like we're doing anything illegal. They're just saying like these guys are douchebags picking up chicks off Tinder. You know what I mean? While everyone's like stuck at home during COVID lockdowns, right? The one thing that actually really got us is we made a video about how we love Mexican girls and how they're so much better than like American women, because American women are fat, Mexican women are just like gorgeous and like really sweet. We're actually like complimenting, you know, the culture and stuff like that. And we just ended up having this crazy media scandal, right? It was really crazy. And like even then, I'm sitting there thinking, fuck, I just got canceled internationally, right? She got kicked off social media platforms. I just got like fucking like everything just like fell apart. You know, we had just had a product launch and just dude, when I say everything fell apart, everything fell apart. Like it was fucked, right? I got fucking dude. Like this is before Andrew Tate, right? This is before I even knew who Andrew Tate was, right? This is before Trump got canceled. So I mean, like I had known I was gonna get canceled. I had hung out with Owen Cook in LA, and he pretty much told me, he's like, dude, if you're in this space, they're gonna come for you. They probably won't come for you because you're an ethnic minority, but they might. And I guess because I was in Mexico, I'm like a foreigner there. It was like perfect candidate to get canceled. I don't think this would ever happen in Western society, to me personally. And so, I mean, I got canceled, right? This again before Trump got canceled, before Alex Jones got canceled, before fucking Andrew Tate got canceled. I got canceled, and I experienced what it was, and I was like, holy shit! And I had to sit there, and I remember like literally thinking, I'm like, there must have been some actions I took, or some kind of vibe I was on, or something I was doing that attracted this, right? I mean, my business partner, my own actions, the product I was launching. So at the end of the day, sure, this happened. This sucks. And it kind of fucked me up a little bit emotionally for a couple months. If anything, I thought it was more than anything, I thought it was funny. More than anything, I thought it was funny. What was traumatizing was, you know, being in an Airbnb and then getting kicked out of my Airbnb, right? And I'm like, what the fuck, right? Or like, you know, my payment processor going bankrupt, or like my fucking, like all these things happening where I'm like, holy shit, it's crazy, right? But I just accept responsibility for myself. In the same way, in every guy's life, no matter what happens to you, dude, I've heard some fucked up stories from some dude. I have friends who've like kind of come out to me and told me they were like sexually assaulted as children. I had some friends who've like told me some fucked up stories, dude. I don't want to share here. And it's like, dude, you got to take responsibility for whatever happens to you, because your life is your fucking responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it. So you were like going back to the inner game question. I see. What would we say? Like we were about 14, 15, 16. When did you identify this is the problem? I got to fix it this way. What age?
Probably around like, I don't know, probably been like 13 to 14, but I wasn't actually able to fix it until like 16 to 17.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So my first cold approach was before I was even studying game. You know what's so funny about, you know, being a guy who teaches game? The biggest realization I've had is like, this isn't even something that needs to be taught. Since the dawn of human time, men have been approaching women, right? So at 16 years old, I mean, I was addicted to video games. I was fucking hooked on video games. And I remember like playing this video game thinking, fuck, man, why can't I just make life my video game?
Yeah.
Why can't I just want to kill in all years of my life. Because I remember thinking like, I wish there was a video game that was like real life. And it clicked on me. I was like, holy fuck, real life is the fucking video game that I've been looking for, right? So I remember my first cold approach, and this is before I even knew about pickup. This is before I didn't see a single pickup video. I was blown away. You know what? I think I had a buddy from like back in high school who had sent me like some pickup videos. And he's like, dude, look at this shit. This is crazy. This is so insane to me. And I was like, nah, this isn't real. Like, I think it was like, it might've been Simple Pickup or like one of those like prank channels. And I was like, there's no way this is real. There's no way you can go approach girls on the street. Right. To me, the concept was so like asinine, so like out of the box. I was like, what? You're telling me you can just go walk down the street and approach a random girl? That is crazy to me, right? Now this is my whole life. So it's so crazy to think how far I've come.
That's what I used to think. When my friend told me, he would like, dude, he told me, he was like, I met girls in the club. I went home and I fucked her, no condom. I was like, dude, I told him, I was like, I'm like, we can't be friends if you're going to lie to me like this. Like I told him, I was like, we can't be friends if you're going to lie to me like this. Cause he really woke me up to understanding like the internal game and feeling good internally. And then projecting that outwardly is like crack for these girls. It's like they can't get enough. And I always say this too, like, you know what we call naturals? They're just guys who like don't have fucking trauma.
Exactly. You know what? I wouldn't even say they don't have trauma. I'd say they've had a lot of trauma and they just didn't succumb to their own emotional weakness. Right? Because like I know naturals had all kinds of fucked up trauma. I had a natural buddy back in the day. Dude was like 8 years old, homeless, starting fights and shit. So I'll finish that story. Back to where it was. I started at 16 in my first cold approach, and I started formally learning game at 17. And dude, the moment I realized, holy fuck, you can watch videos and improve, dude, there's no going back. There's no going back. So again, I'm like 19 years old. I had a buddy who was 18 years old, literally homeless, right? Selling drugs to get by. Dude was a coke dealer, okay? And it was crazy because he stopped selling coke because he had a close call and he didn't want to go to jail, right? And so actually, you know what? He didn't have a close call. He actually got arrested. He had criminal charges for selling coke, and he had a court date, right? But the way the court systems work, it takes a while to get at your trial and all that kind of thing. So we were hanging out for, I don't know, I can't remember the timeline, probably around like 6 months before I realized this guy's fucking insane. Before I realized this guy's batshit crazy, we hung out for months, and it was crazy because this dude was like massive, probably like 250 pounds, jacked as fuck. And I was a small dude, right? So rolling with this guy, no one would fuck with me. My frame was next level. Nobody would fuck with me, right? But this guy was a straight up gangster, like straight up like criminal, okay? Where, I mean, first of all, he didn't have a place to stay. So he'd either crash on my parents' house out in the suburbs. And I realized this guy's sketchy as fuck. I don't want to crash on my parents' house. So he'd usually like sleep in a McDonald's. And he developed a concept called fuck or fist fight, where I guess he was in so much like emotional pain where it's like if he didn't find a girl to take home in order to have a place to stay, he'd start a street fight. So I remember there was a night where, I mean, it was like my second time hanging out with him. We were literally in the McDonald's getting food. Some dude tries to start a fight with him because he's being loud and obnoxious, hitting on girls and stuff like that. Some like fucking drunk dude tries to start a fight with him. He knocks the guy out cold on the fucking floor. And I'm just like, holy shit, what the fuck, right? And then after the second time he knocked the dude out, like a week later, I'm thinking, this guy's fucked. This guy's absolutely fucked in the head. Now, it was like a double-edged sword because hanging out with this guy, we're always getting in a lot of trouble. He's like starting fights and shit, fucking people up. Like dude's like 10 years older than him, punch a dude straight in the face, right? And I remember there's a night he had to go to the hospital and get stitches because he got in a really, really brutal fight. But he just wouldn't back the fuck down, right? And it got me thinking, like, man, this guy is such a natural, like, alpha. But I don't like using that as a term of, like, alpha. Dude was, like, fucking criminally insane, okay? What I think is the true definition of alpha is a guy who has the capability to be that guy but refuses to and instead takes care of all the people around him. This dude grew up without a father. Okay, he had criminal charges for selling coke. He eventually went to jail for selling coke for 8 months, right? I had decided to stop being friends with him long before that because he was fucking crazy, right? He didn't respect anybody's personal boundaries. Any of his friends, he didn't respect their personal boundaries, right? So I had to stop hanging out with this fucking dude, right? But one thing that was crazy is his frame with women was just so dominant and so masculine that they just couldn't help but be attracted to him because like the thing in his brain that says, don't do this. You're going to get injured. You're going to fight. This could happen. That could happen. All these weird like thoughts of rationalizing. I mean, he just didn't have that. Right. And I'm sure him getting blackout drunk helped. I'm sure like him doing all this crazy shit where he's like shoplifting designer clothing from like all these like stores, constantly dealing with police, getting in fights. I'm sure that helped you. I mean, look, if you could do all that shit, dude, you can talk to a hot girl. Like, seriously. This motherfucker would walk into like Gucci, put on a fucking designer jacket and walk out, right? But he was flat fucking broke, right? He's stealing from people, stealing from stores. Like, it was a straight up fucking criminal.
Jesus.
Right? I remember he met this chick and he just like gamed this girl into paying for a hotel for a few days just so he had a place to stay, right? And so, yeah, I mean, like a lot of
what is it about those kind of guys? Like, sometimes you see these like really crazy guys or homeless guys with like like they're kind of crazy, but they also have like this insane amount of game. Like, what do you quantify as to the point that works to get the girl?
it's the social freedom aspect, right? Because women are always going to be attracted to men who are really socially free, because
What
you're
would you define as
communicating a
socially
lot of
free?
status.
Sorry,
So
what would you define as socially free?
you're not conforming to societal standards. You're extremely confident. You're centered in reality. I mean, again, it comes back to framing game, right? I mean, in this guy's case, he had muscles as well. No money, right? But he had frame, he had game, he had incredible fucking confidence. It was really funny is I actually bump into him every now and then. I say hi to him, right? Every now and then I just bump into him on the street every now and then. And it looks like he's doing better. Last I heard, he's the manager at a fucking bar. It sounded like he cleaned his life up a little bit. Went to jail for a few months and eventually came out. I think he was in jail for 8 months, right? But he has no friends. All our friends who were friends with him eventually decided that, he was a piece of shit of a human being and I can't be friends with him, right? And I always just see him alone, and I always see him with girls. I always see him on the street. Even last summer, see him on the street, fucking pulling chicks, right? But I don't know if that's the life I want to live, man. I don't know if it's having no friends, having nothing but girls, and probably, let's be real, he's not going to keep a girl. He's not going to be able to keep a fucking chick, right? Because of the emotional instability, right? And so, yeah, I mean, definitely those types of guys can attract a lot of girls, but keeping them is a whole other issue, right? And yeah, the reason girls are so attracted to a guy like that is game and frame, right? And so, I mean, look, that was something I realized really fucking early in. So
Yeah.
One thing I used to do, because I didn't have money for coaches back then, dude. I was 18 years old, I was flat fucking broke.
And how did you meet this guy? You were 18 at the time, and you met this guy?
I literally met him on the street. He came up.
He just walked up to you. He was like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" He
walked up to me. He's like, "Hey, what's up, bro? We have this mutual friend. He showed me your YouTube videos." I'm like, "Oh, cool, man. I'm going to the club. Want to come?" He came with me, and he was a fucking maniac.
Oh,
who the fuck is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, one thing I used to do back in the day where I didn't really have mentors. I didn't have the money to pay coaches because I was fucking broke as shit, right? And I mean, by the time I started making money, I just valued money so much that I was just scared to invest in myself. I really wish I did, because I would have, dude, I spent years getting to where I'm at. Probably would have done it way quicker, right? Probably would have done it way quicker.
With
Right?
the
I
coach?
got almost 400 bodies under my belt. But I mean, I probably could have been there 3 fucking years ago, right? And so if I just paid for coaches. But what I did do really, really, really well is I hung with guys who were killing it with girls. Not guys who just had a high leg count necessarily, but guys who either had a high leg count or were actively killing with girls, or guys who were kind of just learning, but absolutely killing it with chicks. And what I would do is I would kind of analyze and observe everything they're doing and break it down and kind of journal it and kind of almost like a psychologist, observe, almost like a scientist, almost scientifically breaking down, why they're getting results, what they're doing that's working, and not the lines they're using, but the underlying frame, the underlying process of why they're getting results, right? And that would allow me to recreate the results, right? And I mean, that's what I did my first 3 years. And then eventually after 3 years in game, I realized I should just, get coached, get mentored, and get trained. So then eventually I went to go work with a pickup coach company in Australia. So it was one of the old RSD instructors. I don't know if you remember Alex Social. He's the old Australian instructor. He started his own company called 4 Week Natural. I went to go on to coach for their company for a bit. And that's where I met Brad. Actually, I met Bradicus before that. We'd actually become friends before that. But me and Bradicus just so happened to end up living together and working together in that company. And so it was weird how things worked. And that brought me and Brad pretty close. And, I'm just around all these guys who are fucking killing in game, right? And, I mean, now when I look at my life now, dude, everyone I know gets fucking mad pussy. Every guy I know has fucked hundreds of women. So that's another thing that's really important is because I'm around so many dudes who are multimillionaires who, again, Luis Micardo. It's funny. When I asked Luis Micardo, how many girls he thinks he's hooked up with 3 years ago, he's probably 300 or 400. And then I asked him that early this year, and he's like, yeah, probably 300, 400. I'm like, dude, in the time I've known you, I've seen you pull 100 girls. It's you've fucked hundreds of women. He's probably banged more girls than I have, right? And, I mean, he was just living with me for 3 months in Toronto. Dude's a multimillionaire who slept with hundreds of women, right? Or my roommate, multimillionaire, slept with hundreds of women. I'm just constantly surrounding myself with guys who are as good at game as me or better at other things in game, right? Or better at other things in life, right? So I'm constantly around guys who are just killing it in some area of their life, whether it's social media, clout, just something, right? Maybe they're better with a certain thing with girls. Maybe one of my friends is like better with like, you know, keeping multiple girlfriends. But every guy I know has hooked with hundreds of girls, make a ton of money. And think of it this, right? You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So over the last 10 fucking years I've been doing this, my biggest thing I've really wanted to work on wasn't just making sure I have, you know, hot girls around me. It was making sure I have high level guys around me, right? So I'm friends with every club owner in the city of Toronto, which obviously helps my nightlife business. But a lot of those club owners are killing with girls. Every dude I know is hooked up with hundreds of girls, right? I don't know if you know Keno Body, Grego Gallagher.
Yeah.
The table next to me every Friday night. Every Friday night, he's in the booth right next to me, right? And so I find it really interesting.
Is he your buddy?
We're friends. We're cool.
Okay.
He's like in my soul circle, right? Like he fucked a girl in my bathroom once. So I mean, I'd say we're definitely acquainted, right? Yeah. So I think it's really interesting where, you know, when you just surround yourself with high level dudes who are killing it in business, their career, their dating life, their social life, they're happy, they're fulfilled. What do you think your life's gonna look like?
Right.
Be in that environment for a long enough period of time. You know, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna be dominant. So, and a lot of my really close friends are like twice my fucking age, dude. A lot of my really close friends are in their 40s, you know, multi-millionaire, driving Lambos and McLarens. Right. I have a buddy who lives across the street. He's kind of a newer friend. Dude's fucking rich as shit. We hit a party last weekend. Dude, I thought I spent a lot of money on my parties. I spent $2 to $3 grand on my average party. Motherfucker spent $30,000 on his party on Saturday night. I'm like, holy shit. And like, I know, like, I mean, his penthouse is nicer than mine, so I know he's well off, and I know he's killing it, like his career and stuff like that. He's a real estate developer, right? I'm thinking, holy shit, I need to step my shit up. Dude spent 30 grand on a party. There wasn't even that many people there. I brought all the girls. Me and my buddy brought literally all the fucking chicks, right? It was like probably like 80 people the whole fucking party. It wasn't like that crazy of a party, right? So like, surround yourself with high level people. Go find a mentor who's rich as shit, who fucks a ton of girls, and just learn everything he knows. Yeah. Build a soul circle of like high status dudes who are fucking killing it, right? Go build like an ecosystem of like really successful, ambitious men who are just absolutely dominating at the highest fucking level. Wow. Right? Where do you think you're going to be?
Right? Yeah, and it's so deep. Like people look at us and they think like all these guys are just fucking pickup artists or scam artists. That's what they are. And they really have no idea like the deep level of fucking inner work and like the deep level of thought we put into this. Like, dude, like I said, when I talk to you on the phone, like it's a radiating like joy that is like picked up over the phone. Right. So I got a couple questions for you. 2 more questions, then we'll let you go because we're coming up on 2 hours here. So how many guys have you seen like really go high, but then they attach themselves to like a shitty chick or a shitty group of friends, and that's pulled them down? What are your thoughts on that?
Dude, all the time, dude. You know, it's fucked up. It's happened to a lot of my best friends. It's happened to a lot of, like, so yeah, dude, my fucking roommate, I mean, his girlfriend of 6 years was our neighbor in Australia when I was living there. And I mean, nice girl, dude, very nice girl, super loyal. But it's like, I asked him the question. I'm like, how much more money do you think you'd have? And how much better of a place in life do you think you'd be if you never dated this girl in the first place and you're just single for the last 6 years? Because he's easily spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on his girlfriend. And I mean, he's rich as shit, right? His family runs a 9-figure roofing company, right? It's worth over $100 million. My roommate makes millions of dollars a year, right? He just bought like a $2 million property. Dude's balling. So it makes me ask him the question. It's like, imagine all that time you spent on the girlfriend. If you just put that time and energy into yourself.
Is she a bad girlfriend or is she a shitty chick?
No, you know what? She wasn't like a horrible girlfriend, but she wasn't like the right girl for him. She didn't like she would like shame him for working. She would like give him shit for like, you know, doing all these things that allow her to live an amazing fucking life where she had rent taken care of. She didn't have to worry about shit, dude. You know what I mean? This girl, and he asked her to marry him and she said no. It's like, what the fuck? It's
and
like,
he's still with her?
Dude, he got her a fucking, they broke up. He got her a fucking PR in Canada so she can like live here forever. He gave her a car and he bought her a fucking house. So it's
where's
like,
she from?
England.
Wow. And then
I mean, so in the end, they're broken up. He's all like traumatized and heartbroken. And homeboy's got game, dude. He has no problem getting new chicks, but he's like really fucking sad, right? One thing I'll give him props for is he never let himself succumb to being a bitch. But then on the other hand, so one of my best friends, I'm not gonna name names, one of my fucking best friends, literally like one of my first wingman, love this guy like a fucking brother. Homie was like literally like family to me. Like literally, he's my old roommate. I was living with the guy, one of my best friends in the whole fucking world. I mean, he just got in a fucking relationship, and I haven't seen him in a year. I bumped into him the other day in the gym, and it looks like he's doing well, but I mean, he just stopped going out. He stopped working his career. He just fucking like does food delivery, right? And I mean, he's living a very average, mediocre life. And I mean, the last time I bumped into him, he looked like shit. Not gonna lie.
Oh wow.
In the gym, he looked like he's doing really good. So I mean, he looked healthy at least. But I mean, I know that he's like not in the best place, right? And I mean, he was in a relationship with a girl for 6 months, and that girl put him $40,000 in debt. He ended up, it's fucked up because I introduced him to this chick. I met this like random ass Asian chick in a club, brought her home. He's my roommate, introduced them, right? Ended up banging her, and he ends up banging her, and then he ended up dating her, right? And like, I understand the concept of being lonely, but don't just like attach yourself to any girl you fucking see, right? Because this chick ended up putting him $40,000 in debt, and it's been 3 fucking years, and he's still in fucking debt, right? And so, like, this dude threw his whole fucking life away by picking the wrong women, right?
Wow.
Versus picking the dude. Here's the great thing: you pick the right women, they empower you to the next fucking level, right? Yep. No, seriously. I think the reason I got really successful in business is because I had a gorgeous girlfriend that I loved with all my heart, and I was doing all right. I mean, I was making a couple grand a month, 2, 3, 4 grand a month, but I was at a point where it's like I didn't feel like that was enough, and it was at a point where my business was falling apart. And I was going broke, and I wanted to give everything to her. So then something clicked in my brain, and I started making 20 to 30 grand a month, right? When I was dating her. And it was literally just because I wanted to give this girl I'm madly in love with an amazing fucking life. It's very primal and very instinctual, right? The same way approaching a girl should be very primal and very instinctual if you get over all your trauma, right?
Dude. So fucking true. I want to jump in on this because even the Japanese, they have a slang. So the slang here for pussy is manko, right?
Okay.
And they said there's 2 types of pussy: the agemon and the sagemon. And the agemon is the giving pussy, the pussy that gives you energy, the pussy that adds to your life, that lifts you up, that catapults you to the next level. And the sagemon is the pussy like the dark side pussy, the pussy that drains you, that gives you stress, that takes you away. And that shit is 1,000% true, dude. And it's across all cultures as well. Like a big part of the reason why I think I had such like monumental success is like, dude, I had a girl when I was dating her, dude, she would literally sleep on the floor next to me while I was live streaming and just be like checking Korean dramas and YouTube shit. Like not even like on fucking sketch apps, had no guy friends, was totally in my frame, totally like all about my life. And then like, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about why I had this massive success in my life. And like, when it got to the point where I was successful, I remember like one time Sheila was just like, well, I really want like my dream wallet is this wallet from Hermes. It was like a $3,000 wallet, right? After dating me 3.5 years and taking me from like literal bum status to like multi-million-dollar entrepreneur, I bought that shit for her. Cause I think the red pill community and like this kind of, it can be a little toxic. Like they think there's like, you got to treat these bitches like shit. And like, even I'm alpha male, like never reward them. I'm the man. I can do whatever I want. And she just got to stay and stay and stay. Like you don't want a woman like that. You want a woman that's going to be like, well, please treat me well. But a big part of keeping a woman around is rewarding her for good behavior. And there's nothing wrong with that, And I think a lot of people get that.
I agree more. Yeah. So like, I mean, that girl I mentioned that I was dating, very serious relationship, literally thought we were going to get married. I mean, dude, she found out I was fucking like banging other girls. Instead of trying to be like all defensive and upset and be like, fuck you, I hate you. She just tried to understand why I'm sleeping all these chicks. I'm like, baby, it's my career. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm a sex addict. I don't want to tell you. And instead of like fucking, like think about this. The average girl's like, I'm going to fucking leave you if you cheat on me. She just tried to understand me
cheat
more.
Back or try to get other guys to like fill up the void and shit. That's what hoes do. Like hoes. And that's why they're hoes forever when they think like that.
Straight up. Yeah. Like a girl who tries like fuck guys to get back at you. That's some toxic shit, dude.
It's disgusting.
Right? Yeah. I had a girl I was seeing recently who said, like, if you fuck another girl, I'm going to fuck another guy. And I'm like, well, goodbye.
Nasty.
We're going to talk to you again. Fucking like disgusting, right?
Right here.
She belongs to the streets.
It's like, so like, I mean, fucking more girls for me makes me a higher value man. You fucking other dudes makes you a hoe. Like, that's fucking fucked up. Do what you gotta do, but you're a fucking hoe. I don't respect you now if you said that, right? So cool, fair enough. At least she shows her colors, right? So what I think is really interesting is, you know, back to that relationship where that girl like just like skyrocketed my success.
Yeah.
Right. I realized like there is those two types of girls. There's the girls that bring you down, or is there girls that like bring you up?
Yeah.
And I think you're for a man who loves yourself fully, you're only gonna gravitate towards the women that really, really, really push you to be your best self. Now, here's a really another good example. I have a really close friend of mine, one of my best friends, who is my wingman for like 10 fucking years. Really cool guy, really smart guy, killer game. And during COVID lockdowns, he found himself in a relationship where he wasn't going down or up. He was just staying exactly just stagnant, where his girlfriend was literally paying the bills.
Wow.
Right? His girlfriend was paying the fucking rent. She was a cute girl, nothing special. Like, I mean, nice girlfriend, very nice girl, very, very loyal, very loyal. But my buddy just got fat as fuck. He was 220 pounds, massively overweight, and just playing fucking video games, working some shitty 9-to-5 fucking job where he barely like pays the bills and makes minimum wage. And I remember, you know, I was walking outside his place, and I hadn't seen him in 2 fucking years, right? Because I was out of the country for a year. You know, I wasn't really living anywhere nearby him, and then we kind of just lost touch. And I texted him, I'm like, hey, bro, do you still live at that address? Like, are you around? Like, I'm right outside your house. And this is the summer of last year. And he's, hey, man, yeah, I am. Hey, come, like, let me come grab you. So I go upstairs, and I meet his girlfriend, and I see him, and I'm like, holy shit, this motherfucker's fat. Looks like a fucking nerd. He fell the fuck off. And so, I mean, one thing you can never really do is force your friends to change. So I realized very early in, you can't really force people. You can't tell them, hey, man, your life's shit now. I know I haven't seen you in 2 years, but you're a fat loser, right? So I can't say that to him, right? What I can do is I can inspire him. So I started inviting him and his girlfriend over to my penthouse to parties. So first I invited them over for drinks to catch up and hang out. Then I invited them over to parties and I invited a bunch of hot-ass chicks. And I noticed that my buddy was just around all these hot girls. He didn't want to talk to his girlfriend, dude. He's talking to all these hot-ass fucking chicks, right? Within a month, he called me. He's like, dude, I want to break up with my girlfriend. I want to get my shit back on track. So it's been about 1.5 years. Dude's jacked as fuck, fully tatted, making a shit ton of money.
Wow.
Fucking the hottest girls out of anybody I know. He's like, dude, his main chick right now is an actual model, who's flying to Europe this week. She's going to Milan and Paris to model for 4 months. And I mean, dude, his fucking side bitches are literal tens. Like, he's got the hottest fucking girls, loyal as fuck to him. It is the craziest thing you'd ever see in your life, right? And he bounced back from hell within a year, right? So, I mean, if he was able to do it, I think any of you guys can do it.
Wow, dude. Do you think it was because of the girl he was attached to or his self? I
mean, part of it was COVID lockdowns, right? Part of it was like, I think a lot of people really like suffered during COVID lockdowns. I mean, I thrived. I fucked a ton of girls during COVID. Like, I mean, I was killing it, mostly from like only dating, like Tinder and stuff like that. I mean, I was doing great financially. I mean, did I fucking hate my existence? Sure, because I love nightlife and I love going out. I love actually meeting people in person. But I mean, I definitely thrive more than the average person. A lot of people just didn't have the opportunity. A lot of people were just kind of stuck at home, you know, didn't really have the opportunities they had before. And, you know, in Canada, dude, in Toronto, it was fucking strict, dude. It was brutal. It was brutal. Right. So, I mean, he definitely had a rough time. But, you know, he bounced back really fucking hard. And I got to give him props, you know. I tell him I give him props every day, man, because I have videos of him. I have, like, one specific video where, like, when we first reconnected, he was overweight as fuck. He looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy. He was fat as fuck, dude. And he was still pulling girls. He was like segueing away from his, you know, relationship and meeting new chicks. He was still pulling hot girls. But now he's fucking the hottest girls of anyone I know. Damn. Right? And so there really is no excuses. And I mean, it's just been like just over a year and he's killing it. So with, you know, really refined effort and really like, you know, focusing your energy, just think about where you can be in here for now. Right? Yeah. You find the right mentor, you find the right coach, you take the right fucking path of self-development, you're around the right people. Just imagine where any of you guys can be a year from now.
And then, you know, this is why I've kind of been like separating myself from the red pill or whatever lately. Like, I just kind of be like, I want to be the hot dude pill. I want to be the MLDO sphere, because I just don't like, even digitally, being in a place where we're getting on screen and complaining about shit. Like, I understand like society's kind of like, it is what it is, right? I think it's okay to bring attention to it because there does need to be a certain level of awareness. But when you're just constantly like, it's shit and this is terrible and it's fucking shit and this just like, no, you're in the West, like, dude, okay, like all the negative things. You're 5'4", you're Indian, you're not jacked, you're not 6 foot tall, you're not fucking, you have like a fucking 8-inch stick, you don't have perfect 6-pack abs. Like everything in the world that is like wrong with you, because that's what the dudes cope and they say, oh, this shit's wrong with me, this shit's wrong with me. They think it's all about looks. You're not like, oh, like I have sex with like one girl a month and I'm cool. Like, dude, you are thriving. You are fucking killing the game. You're doing better than like these 6'3" gym cells who have like broken inner game. So I just think that like it's so important, because the one thing that PUA guys do better than the red pill guys have the theory down to science, but the theory is embedded in a lot of negativity. And then that negativity gets onto them and then it just fucks you up in the head. And so like I had to get away from it. I had to be like, dude, I'm like not doing this because there is a way. And I'm the same way. Like I grew up abject poverty, like fucking got my ass beat. My mom's Caribbean, right? She beat the fuck out of me. She threw a PlayStation at me, like emotional abuse, all that shit. And I was able to literally climb out like from abject poverty to sit on the internet in a robe and sunglasses and make $1 million plus, talking shit all the way to the bank. So that's why when people tell me like, I don't, this is happening to me, this happened to me. Like, no, honestly, fuck you. Like I did it. You can do it. Like I had a guy, it was surprising. He was in Canada too. He was literally paralyzed in a wheelchair. And he had like these assisted living nurses come take care of him. And I taught him in my courses, like how to fucking throw down game. And he started fucking having a rotation of 2 of these girls that were his nurses, like sucking him off and having sex with him. And he's literally like paralyzed from the neck down.
Dude, that is so crazy. Holy fuck.
Dude, yeah, he's awesome. His name's Josh. The black pill guy's like, oh, MLD paid this guy money to come on stream and lie. And I'm just like, no, like you guys are so lost in your patheticness that you just don't get it. You clearly don't get it. Like when Owen said like, there's a secret club of like good looking hot people that are like always fucking hooking up and having good times, having sex and all that shit. Like it truly is, like it is a secret club and most people are not getting in. They don't know how to get in and they definitely want to get in though.
Dude, it's actually crazy when you mention that, like that secret club, like high status, good looking people just hooking up all the time. Because it's like now I'm in there, and it is. I'll tell you this, dude, it's fucking awesome. It's so good going to a party in Toronto, and I just like I already know who's gonna be there. It's gonna be the hottest fucking chicks in the city. It's gonna be like a select few guys who are like all in their 40s, who are rich as shit, multimillionaires, business owners. All these guys have like yachts and shit, and like. It's like me, a couple other like young dudes who have game, and these like rich older dudes just fucking all these chicks, right? Or like it's really a small percentage of guys who are hooking with all the girls. It's the 80-20 rule, right? 20% of guys hook up with 80% of the women, and it goes even further than that, where 0.5% of men, so 1 in 200 men, are hooking with 50% of the women. So like in any city, right? You've got 1 in 200 guys who are banging like half female population over a lifetime, right? And so it's actually really crazy to think, like if you're an average guy and you have a cute girlfriend, there's a chance that, guy like me or me have fucked your girl, right? And it's like, once you can learn these skills, you can be on the other end of it where you're just the guy banging everyone's girl, right? Without even like, it's not like you're thinking about fucking the other dude's girls. It just kind of happens.
Right.
And there's no excuses, man. Like everyone's complaining about the West and all this shit. It's like, look, man, when you like, I've traveled the whole fucking world. I've been to like over 50 countries. Like, I mean, sure, you can go live in Colombia. I mean, I went to Colombia. It's nice, but you have to worry about getting robbed in the street. You have to worry about getting a gun pulled on you while you're in a fucking Uber and getting forced to give up your phone. I don't deal with that in Toronto. I walk the streets in with $2,000 shoes and a $1,500 jacket. And I don't have to worry about shit, right? No one's gonna fucking rob me in the streets of Toronto, right? And so, I mean, like, you guys can complain all you fucking want, but it's fucking great. And so whether you're in LA, New York, Sydney, London, there's no fucking excuses to get these results, right? Yeah.
And I think the majority of the population is misled. It really everything in life comes down to inner game. Everything, every single thing. And my philosophy was, when I was getting myself out of that rut, was that I just figured like I could brainwash myself out of it. Like I watched this documentary when I was like 25, 26 about like MK Ultra. And I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I could fucking do this to myself. And I made like a mind movie, and like with inspirational music and like all these flashing like fucking screens with like, you know, present tense statements that happened to me. And the amount of shit that happened to me that came true is like fucking scary. It's fucking scary how much shit in there came true. When it says like, in one of the parts said like, I make large amounts of money so effortless that I become bored with it. And I was just like, holy fucking shit, man. And it's insane. It's insane. Shout out to Gordo Eats 499 super chat. Saw one of his interview videos when I first started learning game 2014 at 15. Cool to see his content again. Hope y'all doing well. He's doing beyond well. Watch this from the beginning. Dude, so I mean, we really covered this like in such great depth. Guys, Justin is the newest member of the Masculine Empowerment Network, and he is going to be giving a speech at the Masculine Empowerment Network in January. In addition to that, he's going to be continuing to put out content on his YouTube channel. So don't forget, follow him on Instagram. It is Drunk Justin #2, right? Even though he's sober. That's funny. Yeah. If you want a free consultation with him, go to justinmarc.com. Apply now. Tell him that MLD sent you. He's going to sort you out, and then find him on YouTube. His YouTube channel is Justin Marc, right? The way it's spelled. Yeah, so it's also Justin Marc. I'm subscribed to him, and I'll pull it up here real quick so you guys can see his channel and take a look at it right here. He's got over 100,000 subscribers. He's killing the game. So you can hit him up on his website, hit him up here, or come get a real one-on-one conversation with us in the Masculine Empowerment Network. Justin, thank you so much for coming on here, bro. Thank you. You are awesome. You are a fucking great guy. I have an eye for talent. And like every time I see him, just like, bro, like you make me want to do better. I got off the phone. I'm like, dude, I got to do better. Like this kid's killing it. Like you inspire me, even as an older man at 37 across the world in Tokyo. Like you I'm not even like trying to like fucking gas you up. You literally inspire me to be a better person.
Thanks,
and
John.
I think that
I appreciate it, man. It's great. It's great.
It's true, man.
Have an impact.
It is. It absolutely is. You have anything you want to say in close?
I mean, I'd say, guys, just go out there, kill it. Like, watch this entire video. If you guys haven't seen this entire video, there's a lot of gems dropped in here, and I want to see you guys succeed. I really do want to see you guys get to the highest level of success. And if you guys can go out and just kill it, it'd make me really fucking happy. And again, follow me on Instagram. You can see me live this life every single weekend on my Instagram stories. And you can also call me. I do free consultations, justinmarc.com. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll be inside the Masculine Empowerment Network in January. I'll see you guys there as well.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.